it will,
Okay,
now
so
it
the
is.
meeting is starting at 5:06. Welcome, everybody. We are going to start with welcome and roll call. So, welcome, roll call, Jenny, Dale, and Rosa. Jamal Jackson will be virtual, so we'll go to him once.
I don't know, let me see if he's in, he might still be here.
Noria, here. Yeah, Kyle, me, Rosa, Justin, and-
Here.
You speak up, just make sure.
Oh, Kristen, here, Margarita, Rosa, not yet, but she has an indication on me. Justin Sia did say he'd be like 10 minutes late. Ben, would you like to put that out?
Reminded.
Okay, so don't. Alfredo Sayas, and then Abastadi.
And Jamal Jackson is here virtually, do we?
Right, I just had to.
Oh, after, yeah, that's right.
So let me just do the.
Yeah.
And then just a reminder, group norms, everybody please be respectful, let everyone take a turn speaking. We have a plan to stop the clock, so we'll try to keep that, and everyone, I know you have to check your cell phones, but let's just try to be respectful of that as well. So now we have one member, Jamal Jackson, who is virtual. Would someone like to make a motion and to join the meeting?
Motion.
And then, yeah, so Principal Science made a motion, Jenny, and you're going to second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Please say aye. Welcome, Jamal.
Thank you.
Moving on, approval of the agenda. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the agenda?
I motion?
And then would someone like to second? Oh. Okay, pick one for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all in favor of the agenda? Aye. Nobody opposed. And then Jamal?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. And then it looks like Ms. Rosa Flanagan. Margarita, we just approved the agenda. Well, okay. Now we're going to go on to the minutes. Which, have to remind me, Jenny, it was a long minute.
Yeah, so we get it.
Justin said so. Okay, yeah, he seconded me here.
I'll list out all the minutes, moment. Black.
Will we all caught up, right?
Just the last meeting.
Right, which is fine.
One more.
Wow, you're within your. I found it. June 3rd, regular meeting, July 9th, organization meeting, July 9th, special meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for,
Okay,
the meeting, the one, June 3rd was the one that was.
it was for, yeah, that's what we're not past our deadline. Would someone like to make a motion to minutes? I will do it. I make a motion to approve the minutes from, we just got to approve of the minutes. I will make a motion to approve the minutes, June 3rd, July 9th, and August 21st. Would someone like to second? Then a second. All in favor of approving those minutes? Aye. Aye. Great. Okay. So,
You're abstaining?
abstaining?
Yes.
I just have a question.
I don't have.
Or is there a-
Do it for nothing.
There's a remote, but I don't know.
I think that. I did have a question. A question for Mr. Sias. This is second or maybe more meetings where you abstain from voting on the minutes. I just wanted to ask why.
Because I choose to abstain.
Okay, so that passes. So that takes us to public participation. I'm sorry, I just give me 1 second to get the. Thing to read for public participation. Okay, I'm going to read public participation. We will now proceed with the public participation portion of the meeting. Profane language, unsolicited comments, and disruptive behavior are prohibited. Individuals who are disruptive may be given a warning and may also be removed from the meeting if necessary. The online chat will be open during public participation only for participants to put their name to request to speak. Otherwise, all attendees must refrain from writing anything else in the chat. As a reminder, it's on the agenda. With our new bylaws, we allow 15 minutes for each public participation portion, maximum individual participation of 3 minutes per meeting. An individual will only be allowed to speak once during each meeting, and each of the 2 public participation periods may be extended only by 10 minutes by a vote of the LSC. Justin, you're okay to time. We have a sign-up sheet in person for right here, and then we open the chat, right, Justin?
Yes, the chat is open, so if you would like to participate publicly, please put your name in the chat. We do have somebody signed up in person if we want to start with Mr. Jason Ware.
Yeah. Would you mind coming close to the mic?
Yeah, where do you want?
Sorry,
Like here?
Perfect.
I mean, it'll catch you. You don't have to be that close, but yeah.
Oh.
Well, no, you're good. No, you're good. It'll catch you right.
And then just introduce yourself.
Okay.
Sorry. And then we'll time you at 3.
Hi, everybody. Peace, everybody. I entered the room. I said I am in peace. That's how I started out my classroom. So peace. All of that. I am Jason Ware. I'm a restorative justice specialist with the Office of Social Emotional Learning in Chicago Public Schools. It is an honor to be in that position. I'm here just a question, but also y'all have my contact info, so if y'all have any questions for me, you can contact CPSL, you can email me, you can chat me, whatever.
Sorry to
They
interrupt. Can
said-
you speak up a little bit?
Yeah.
I thought so. See, and usually I'm a loud person. So that's who I am. That's what I do. And fun fact, my friend and fellow social worker, well, not fellow, but fellow CPS employee and social worker is an alum here, Gabriella, and she's like the most amazing social worker in CPS. So that's another reason why I wanted to come in person, because I was like, I want to see what an American is like. She went here as a kid. So one of the questions was, in terms of restorative justice coordinators, like what training they received. And so I sent you all an email that you all have printed out somewhere in your stack of papers with the list of all of those trainings. And it's pretty thorough. Because I only have 3 minutes, I'll just say quickly, like there's trainings that restorative justice coordinators go through as discipline leads, which are really, really thorough as far as like documentation needs and working with students with disabilities and doing bullying investigations. There's just lots of things that are protocol based. And then as a restorative justice coordinator, specifically, my office offers trainings around developing restorative culture, which is an all-day training. It's pretty intensive. Restorative conversations, which is like conflict mediation, and then certified circle keeping. And so that's like a 3 to 4 day process of being in circle and being able to train others in how to lead these circles. And so those are all the things that Ms. Martinez at your school has gone through. But I also think it just in terms of your community and this being the school community, that you all know that your RJC is one of the only RJCs that out of 140 that has done all of these trainings. I keep a pretty good list of like all the trainings, and there's only a few people that have gone to every single one and been like diligent about that. But she's also, Ms. Martinez, your RJC, is also one of the 5 leads for the district as restorative justice coordinator. So I picked 5 restorative justice coordinators to be the leads to carry on this work, to run things at I really don't teach at my professional learning community. I let the restorative justice coordinators do it because it's theirs. And Ms. Martinez is one of the people that does that. I think another thing that's not included in all of these trainings is also Ms. Martinez's
Sorry, you need to.
Oh, I do need to stop.
Yeah.
I thought you said.
I thought you were like, oh, okay, great.
No, I was gonna finish the sentence. I'm just finishing.
Oh,
the
you're
sentence.
finishing.
That she's also experienced in coaching staff and teachers.
Thank you.
Although, thank you very much. I do want to clarify, I mean, he was invited as a guest, it seems, not public participation.
Yeah.
That's what is confusing. Mr. Science, did you invite him to the meeting?
So the question that you all posed was what kind of training that the RKC provided?
Yeah, for the principal.
Right. So I was just, my question is, Mr. Science, did you invite him? If you did, then he would be a guest that we would be invited and the LSC couldn't give him more time. And so it's not public participation. So I would like to move to, as we've done in the past, if you're okay with that, to, after other folks have public participation, to have a few moments to be able to ask questions in a more interactive way, given that he's an invited guest.
That's
Okay,
fine.
great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's fine.
I was not aware that I thought you were here. I did not know.
I think we.
I didn't know
Yes.
that.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for being here, and we look forward to having a few other questions.
Cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to do that.
Okay, cool.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
It's gonna take me a long time to get out of here because of the traffic.
I know.
Because
No, you're gonna be good.
You can
stuck.
hang out with us today.
it's-
No, you don't wanna leave at 8.
Yeah, 8 o'clock.
Is
Okay.
it, thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you, and then we'll,
Is the next one the virtual one? Do you want to-
so right now, let me see, I don't see any hands up and I don't see anybody in the chat. Does anybody, this is, oh,
A statement also that was
okay,
submitted. so-
there is, hold on, I'm trying to get it back to.
Oh, I thought you were gonna ask me questions.
Yeah, in a moment.
Finish
Yeah, we
out.
have to
Yeah.
finish the public participation.
Okay, now we have people coming in the chat. Okay, Carolina Barrera Tobon.
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
I have a 7th grader and a 5th grader. So I wanted to discuss 2 concerns. I wanted to report back that after several parents have written the administration about the school not meeting the required minutes in math, ELA, science, and social studies, the administration's response or solution is to have 10 minutes of one of these disciplines each day at the start of each school day. Let me repeat that. Instead of getting a 60-minute block, like they should, 5 days a week, one of those blocks is being replaced by 10 minutes a day at the beginning of the school day. I don't need to be a tenured professor or have a PhD to know that math does not math. I still do not understand why the teachers cannot take, their required planning period during the student specials or recess lunch. This is terrible planning on behalf of our administration, and it has resulted in this mess that needs to be fixed ASAP before our children's academics are further affected. I also wanted to talk about an incident that happened. It has to do with the differentiated discipline of students at Inter-American. When we allow our principal to lie, cheat, commit fraud, retaliate, and break policies and laws without any consequences, we create a culture of impunity. And so other people in the building think that it's okay to do the same without fear of consequences. Earlier this year, my daughter and 2 of her friends were in a class and they were playing like Yo Mama, but jokingly, because my child is a 5th grader. Shortly after that, another child approached the group and started verbally assaulting one of the other children using expressions that I can't even repeat in public, but talking about her body, talking about her size, and using expletive language. After that, the child's own parent, who is a teacher in this grade, took all the children and, saw one of the students crying, the one that had been berated and verbally assaulted, and sent the children to Ms. Martinez, the restorative justice coordinator. The incident was completely misrepresented. Not all the facts were reported. The children were not asked what had happened. And so all of them were disciplined. I have a copy of the incident report, the Aspen report. By the way, Mr. Zayas does not give parents Aspen reports, which is against CPS policy and FERPA, but okay. And it is just completely unacceptable that these 2 groups of children are being treated the same when one of the children did something completely unacceptable. This is not a spectrum of behavior. These are 2 categorical things that have happened, and it's problematic when people get preferential treatment at the school and others don't. So you have preferential treatment and then you have retaliation. Completely unacceptable. Mr. Zayas, thank you.
Thanks, Eva.
Next is,
We have Jenny's statement. Do you want to do
oh,
that?
yeah.
No,
Oh, okay. Well, she says she's on the bus and she's gonna be off. Lindsay Woods, are you ready to participate right now?
I can in like 2 minutes.
Okay, well, we have some, a statement here and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so let me move the speaker over.
So, I am reading a statement that was submitted by Ms. Lisa Dayo, a representative of first grade parents about recess concerns. And the parents asked that this be read during public participation. Dated September 24th, dear LSC, we need your help to understand this year's new recess schedule and policies at IAMS. We have many questions and concerns. Firstly, why were the new school recess policies schedule not explicitly communicated to all the parents? We found out via complaints from our own kids. When we emailed the principal with our recess concerns, Principal Zayas responded that his reasoning for changes is guided by student safety and equity. These generalizations do nothing to ease our worries, and Principal Zayas has not been willing to meet in person to discuss further. Feeling stuck, trying to work with the administration, we have come together as a parent community to advocate for our children. Talking with each other, we realize that almost everyone has recess concerns, and there are more concerns than any one parent realized on their own. We compiled a list of questions below addressing our concerns. LSC, can you please help us get a clear understanding of how recess works at IAMS and specifically reasoning for all the changes? It is of the utmost importance for us that the administration makes their decisions prioritizing student well-being and development, but we are currently not convinced and do not understand the reasoning behind any of these changes made. Our first request to the IAMS administration is to provide documentation of the recess schedule and accounts for the following: times for each grade have lunch and recess, number of students and staff outside at the same time, days each class has recess on turf or playground, student capacities of the playground and turf. Our second request is to have clear and specific answers from the IAMS administration on the following recess-related concerns. First graders have been restricted to using the playground during recess from 2 to 3 days to 1 day a week. Our kids need more playground days, not less. Why are first graders only allowed to play on the school playground once a week at recess? What other options were explored by the administration before deciding this was the only reasonable option? First graders must play on the turf 4 days a week for recess. Most of the turf is sectioned off for soccer with a small area of kids who do not want to play soccer. How is the soccer play monitored by staff? What is there to do for those who don't want to play soccer? They are bored. It's recess, which should be the highlight of their day. How sad. This year, lunch now comes before recess for all grades, even though CPS policy says that recess is scheduled prior to students' lunch periods. If possible, why is it no longer possible for recess to be scheduled before lunch? We have indoor recess concerns from last school year. Our kids have indoor recess too frequently last year when it was safe to play outside. CPS recess weather guidelines say it's the principal's discretion for recess to be outdoors when the temp and wind chills are between 15 and 32 degrees. What specific protocols does Principal Zayas follow to decide indoor or outdoor recess on his discretional days? The auditorium is not ideal for indoor recess, and some students got hurt last year running around during indoor recess. What will be done differently this year to keep our kids safer? Does indoor recess have to be in the auditorium? It would be safer to have sections in the hallway for kids. Okay. And it's almost done, and so the full letter is submitted as an addendum to the minutes.
Thanks, and just to note, the recess schedule and supervision is an agenda item down under whole business, so this will be discussed then.
And I can share also from last meetings, we had some questions about it, but the minutes haven't been published yet, so those who missed it, I can look back at the minutes to share some of those concerns when we have that discussion.
Okay.
All right, I'm going back to you, Miss Lindsay Woods. Are you ready to participate? You're the next on our list. Actually, I think the last one.
Yeah, can you guys hear me? Because I'm outside now, so I think it's better.
Yeah, can you just state the grade of your child at the school?
Yep, my son is in 6th grade.
Okay, go ahead.
My name is Lindsay Woods, and I'm the parent of a 6th grader in our school. I want to share my concerns with you regarding the serious issues that are now directly affecting students. Unfortunately, what began as retaliation towards staff, teachers, and parents has now reached our children. Our principal continues not only to disregard CPS policies, but in this case, to break the law. My son has an IEP that was finalized in early June 2025. Last Monday, I received an email from our new case manager requesting my signature on a document giving the school permission to make changes to the IEP without my consent. The following day, my son Sika was removed from his classroom without any prior notification. I wrote to ask what happened and was told that there were changes being made. I have not signed or consented to any changes to my son's IEP. None of his teachers nor any student-facing staff have suggested that a revision to his IEP is necessary. Modifying a finalized IEP without calling a proper meeting is a legal violation. Attempting to cover up such a change only creates further mistrust. I've spoken to several who have confirmed that their children's IEPs have not been changed. I firmly believe that my son and I are being targeted by this administration because I have spoken out innumerable times about issues with this principal. This is not the first time either. In November 2023, he also went out of his way to have me dismissed from my position as a crossing guard at the school and made up lies about me in an appeal to my parent LSC representative application during the last LSC election. How are parents and students supposed to feel safe when speaking out? While results of this kind of persistent retaliation goes unpunished. How are we expected to restore relationships and rebuild community when dishonesty persists? Now, my son has gone without his services required for a little over a week, and this is unacceptable. So, what must happen for this leadership problem to be addressed? Can this LSC press CPS harder to act more firmly? We all recognize the severity of the situation, and now it's reaching our children. I urge you to press harder for accountability. Our school deserves a leader who respects policies, follows laws, and genuinely cares about the well-being of our children. So let's work together and ensure our students have a safe, supportive, trustworthy environment in which to learn and grow. And also, that was what I wrote. But I just want to know too, aren't you just sick of fighting with us at this point? Like, I don't understand why you enjoy coming here month after month and have us ask all these questions of you only to have them not answered and continue the same.
It's
And
okay.
that's all.
It's all.
It's a question
Unless
about-
it's
it's a
right.
question.
It's all.
Are good time?
Time is not up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, all right.
And I would just like to say, that this also happened previous weeks, but according to the new bylaws, a free speech, unless there's cursing or other things, they can continue and by, interrupts their public participation by making questions. So if there are questions or concerns, it can be waited
Yes,
until
I
the
asked
end.
that, I read it at the beginning every single time that we have many, especially free speech and why the bylaws are, as they are. If we need Justin to explain it again. Thank you for being on recess. Anybody else?
No. So, going once for public participation, raise your hand or put your name in the chat. Going twice. They want to repeat what was said about the bylaws because I could not hear.
There were questions at the end of Ms. Wood's statement about personal attacks that interrupted, and we weren't allowed to. Everyone couldn't hear the statement, but we clarified that the new bylaws state that there are more broader terms around free speech, as defined.
It says profane language.
Profane language.
Unsolicited comments and disruptive behavior are prohibited. Individuals who are disruptive may be given a warning and may also be removed from the meeting. There's no mention about personal attacks. So the way you comment on somebody that disrupts the speaker.
Okay, so nobody else so I'm going to close the chat. And that's it. Are we able to circle back?
Yeah, so just as a point of order and clarification, this was also, I think if there are special guests that are invited to the LSC, this happened with Right at School as well. I think there's confusion that guests then think that they have 3 minutes to public participation, when in fact it's more, they're being invited to ask questions and it's a discussion. So I just would ask in the future, if there are special guests invited, that we be communicated so that we can respond appropriately and find a place in the agenda for them to participate. So I now would like to move to invite Mr. Ware again to, you don't have to stand up, but if people had clarifying questions or other things around restorative justice, that we could address them.
I would say
as
also,
a-
yeah.
a
And I
designated
also just
time
want to
period.
add, like, if you have a special guest, if you let us know before the agenda, prior to 48 hours, we can put you in the agenda, and I'm more than happy to do that. But if we don't know in advance, then we can't do it. But yeah, I second that motion, I guess.
Is it more appropriate for him to talk during Principal Zai's principal report? Is it part of the principal report, Principal Zai?
It is not, so
Oh,
we
it's
should
not.
actually.
Yeah, and because we didn't know that, there was no way to.
Okay.
Okay.
And if you haven't gotten to the bottom of the pile, like there's information there.
Okay.
I know we rushed you off too, so if you
So
have
we need
any
to vote on that,
stuff
right?
you wanna,
So we just invite him, see.
I suppose.
It's on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda?
No, because I didn't know.
Oh,
It
well
wasn't
then,
sent
yeah, I
to me.
suppose we should
Yeah.
amend the agenda.
Although in the past, I don't know.
In the past, it's always been like on the agenda.
Well, no, right at school, I had a conversation with them and we didn't, they weren't on the agenda.
I think it's also noted, it's the chiefs that are trying to.
Yeah, but it's been part of the, but I think it's fine, but when he's chimed in, it was like an agenda topic for which we had a question. Is the
I mean, he was part of
That's
the
what I'm saying,
question.
like, I didn't know, so I couldn't put this on the agenda, that's.
Since we already voted, are we going
I
back to
think we should
amendment?
vote.
I think we should vote, yeah. Yes, did you?
I have a question.
Yeah,
well, first.
well, no,
we
we
have
have
to
to
vote.
vote to let them speak.
Or to let us.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Okay,
what
so
do we
you
do?
made a motion, right?
No, I did not make a motion. I was just trying to figure out what's going on.
So do we make a motion to amend?
I think we
the
have to,
agenda?
yeah, and then we can have him speak right now, yeah.
So I make a motion to amend the agenda to add him.
Yeah.
To.
Exactly, so.
Mr. Ware, right?
Mr.
I'll-
Ware.
I'll second.
Just call me, please.
Jason.
Okay, Justin, so all in favor of letting Mr. Ware, also known as Jason, speak, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay, everybody was in favor, so great, that passed. Floor is yours.
Oh, yeah, any questions?
If you want to maybe come over, I know, or you can even pull up a chair if you want, just
That's
be
fine.
close to the
I've been sitting all day.
Yeah.
And I know we rushed you, so if there's any other stuff that you wanted to add to what you said, I'm sorry that we.
I think the first thing I'd like to say is I'm also a CPS parent of a 4-year-old at Cliffwood Elementary who I need to pick up.
That's my alma mater.
It is? That's awesome. Yeah, I live right next to the school. I'm not here for any political reasons. If principals ask me a question, I like coming to LSC meetings, and my dad lives in this community, so I'm just decided to pull up. And I'm pretty thorough when I answer questions. And I guess the only other thing I would say is that I'm just really glad that I work with 140 RJCs across the district, and I'm just really glad y'all have Anna. That's pretty much all I would say. Any questions? But any questions about RJ? I mean, I'm happy to answer.
Ms. Rosa, you have,
We are a very political group. We won't put you in that spot. But I will, the question I have is, within the training, is there specifics on how to present, make a presentation to the community? So that, we would like Ms. Martinez to be able to make a presentation to the parents. So the parents know what her role is.
Yeah.
And so that we have to work, hand in hand. So anything that happens in terms of behavioral issues, bullying, that should be not just handled, at the level of the teacher and the students, but also at home. Because education begins at home. Because that's where, you can follow up as a parent, know what happened, and then be able to. So is that training given, and can, within the scope of, can we arrange for that to happen in our school? Where we can have this parent, the restorative justice coordinator, make a presentation to the parents.
So
With the LSC included, because sometimes we just say parents and sometimes.
And the community members.
So we would like.
no, that's great.
The parents and the LSC.
No, I mean, so there's not, so the specific RJC you have, not all RJCs, but the specific RJC you have has experience with making presentations to communities and is the person that I call on to present to my group. And part of the amount of especially the 3 to 4 day circle training, I think she was for 4 day circle training. There's a lot of practice in there of how you talk and communicate about this work. And I would say that I think that's a great idea. I should also email you all a copy of the restorative practice toolkit for parents and families so that y'all can take a look at that. And because it's just my work to do this, I think there's the difference between presenting about RJ work in an LSC setting and then sitting in circle with somebody, which is a very different thing. And I think gets more at the truth of what's really happening and understanding the protocols of things. So yeah, but 100% is qualified and trained to do presentation community and comfortable with public speaking. So yeah.
The one other question that I have would be in terms of how, or what are the mechanisms in place to support this new restorative justice coordinator in our community to kind of learn about some of the existing interpersonal challenges of students, knowing kind of those dynamics. I mean, I'm sure it just takes time, the same way a new teacher kind of gets adjusted to, but is there a way to kind of do listening circles with teachers on these are some kids who at recess are always pounding on each other, or there's other dynamics that we've heard public participation, how are we as a school community able to support and create a formal process opposed to just being oh, here's the same kids again in my office about this, but more an intentional and strategic way.
Yeah, I mean, it's legitimately our best practice for all RJCs that they are very aware of because we've covered it for the past year in our professional learning communities of going, when you enter a new school, you go through listening tours to the best of your ability because you're also pulled in all these different ways, so it's hard to get to that. But I think it also comes back to what I said to that question about sitting in a circle with parents and knowing the background of the things. And and so I think that's the first step. And so that's 100% what our team tells our RJCs to do. That is so I think if there's any way I can push and say I'm Anna's not supervisor at all, but coach. So asking her and having a conversation about her listening tours is the next step I can do tomorrow. So yeah, that's a good question.
And so it comes from her initiative to set those up opposed to that's how it begins, or is there an admin support to facilitate scheduling those? What is
every school is different. I push all schools to try to make space for this, and most of the time teachers are saying we don't want to make time for that. We don't want to let students out of classroom time for that, or they're too bogged down in putting out fires to be able to do that. So it's my understanding that there is that, it's my understanding that that's the approach here within all of the things that happen in the school day. So yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah. And I would say about this position, it was a really hard position for schools to get. I was an activist trying to get this as a school position in 2019. So to have 140 of them out of 500 schools, like having less than like 25, like around 25% of schools having it is just like, it's a big deal. And what they do, what RJCs do more so is like they are supposed to help create a healthier ecosystem in the place that you want to be in. And so I strongly advocate for schools to have them, especially saying in this meeting and just thinking about like the healthiness of an ecosystem and someone that's just dedicated to that thing. So yeah.
I just have a quick question. How are students involved in restorative practices when they have to like go to Ms. Martinez? And I only ask because I am like still learning about the position, and I was having a hard time understanding the differences between what they do and what like a social worker would do. So like I want to try to understand a little better how our students put, how do they put into practice like whatever they're supposed to do, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I get that question a lot about the differences between social workers and restorative justice coordinators and counselors and like where do these people, I think that like a restorative justice coordinator is a person that's trained in being able to have a lot of empathy and emotionally intelligent and hear people, hear students and identify what their needs are and make sure their needs get met. And so like if a conflict occurs in a classroom, Anna is going to talk with the student if they feel like talking to her. And if they don't, then they don't. They're never forced or coerced to talk to her. And like the RJC is someone that's supposed to get both sides of, not supposed to, does get both sides of a situation and hear them out and then identify, not dissimilar from a social worker, identify action steps to make sure their needs get met. It's not that dissimilar from the type of work that social workers do. It's just that a restorative justice coordinator is like, that's one of the things they're supposed to do, but they're supposed to build up the capacity of other people to do that work as well. So it is the social workers sometimes, depending on who has the best relationship with that student or if that student's on the caseload. And so it's a yes and. Like the restorative justice coordinator is supposed to do those things that like social workers do, but then also is that neutral coach that like if there's a teacher that may be having a bias with a student, they are the ones that can work with that person to help uncover those biases and then work forward. Whereas a social worker doesn't have that neutrality, doesn't have that, it's just a different dynamic. So it's a yes and. I think a lot of people are like, oh, RJ is like having another therapist, or RJ is like having another. It's like having a lot of things. It's just having a really dope human to help you. That's what it is, right? So like, yes and.
So,
Oh, you were there.
sorry. I think it would be helpful to sort of be able to define exactly like the roles that person plays. Because I think there's a bit of a confusion as to whether or not there's a restorative aspect to it versus a disciplinarian, right? And so is this person, I don't know this or not, but is this person also writing up like the incident reports or anything like that? Like that I don't have that information, but I think that then it crosses the line as to, well, this, or is there a disciplinary aspect to what she's doing?
I mean, it is both and. It is both and. There are some schools that have just a disciplinary dean that just handles those things, and then a restorative justice coordinator that's just pushing into classrooms doing like the tier 1 work. But there isn't, I've done this work for a long time, there is no separation necessarily between like being able to follow due process with a student and hear their story and write up the incident, but still be not biased in terms of like how I assign consequences to you, but still being willing to go through a restorative process. Those two, I think a lot of misconceptions that people think those are two different things, and they're not necessarily. There are times where like, if we're talking about like an OSP investigation or a bullying investigation, which are much more different, that would be a different protocol in terms of how a restorative justice coordinator would carry that and handle that. But I do not, in my work, have not seen there ever been a problem with like a discipline lead and or RJC being the same person. I personally want the discipline lead to more so be somebody else so that they can focus on the proactive work, because that's what they're trained to do is the proactive work. But you only have so many people. We're in a budget crisis. Schools don't have enough people, so it just is. But I don't know how to ease your. I think you would have to talk to Ms. Martinez one-on-one about her process with a specific person to understand why that isn't a conflict of interest. I've done it as an assistant principal. I've done it as an RJC. I've done it as a dean. I've done it in all these different roles of like writing up the things, assigning the things, talking to the parents, but still holding the circle. Like it's just about who the person is, less about like what title they have. But I think you meeting her and talking to her about specific scenarios would help. I think you would.
Yeah, I was just a question about, you mentioned also finding bias with the teachers, if there are any. So will our restorative justice person also work with the teachers in addition to just the kids? Okay.
Yeah, the idea is that they work with everybody.
Do they work with parents too?
They can.
Okay.
They are. I did when I was one. Like it's you are a gardener of that community, so you are there to be. Which is why it's sometimes nice to have like the assistant principal do this and stuff, so it takes some time. But like that, they do have. You're building relationships with parents so that you can get to know a student and like where they come from, what their background is. So yes, that is definitely part of the work. When, and I say when, they have the time because they never have time to do anything. So yeah.
Thank you for coming. And then in terms of helping set up, like what Margarita has suggested for having our RJC have some kind of a presentation or info session for the parent and like school community inclusive of the LSC, what would be our next steps? Or how do we, what would be the best way to do that? Because it's a new position for all of us, so it might be helpful.
Yeah, I think the first thing would be me notifying Ms. Martinez, hey, we should get something together. And LSC wants to talk to you, and when the next LSC meeting is, add it to the agenda. I mean, yeah, I think, I don't.
November 6th.
Yeah.
Could we,
That-
and you can,
that
email
would be
you,
the-
we have your contact.
That would be the next step, yeah.
Also, it could also be outside of the LSC meeting, you know,
Like,
because we're like in this time constraint, we have like zillions of things.
Yeah.
So could that be arranged, like where we have like a full hour maybe?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
or just that.
Yeah.
like a virtual school
Yes.
session, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Just introduce.
Like she could do a presentation virtually for you all and then have questions at the end.
Anyone who wants to.
You could advertise the parents.
Yeah,
Like
and I'm,
what is RJC, like what do we,
That's great.
do, like what have
I mean, we have like everybody who's an RJC gets a template from me about that immediately upon getting the job. So she's done it before. Lots of RJCs have, but I also want to advocate for like, I'm going to ask her about her availability for circle with the community. Just be like, how can we have a community circle? I'm just a circle guy. So I think that as a separate thing would be really good. So yeah, as well. And in addition, circle. I think everything should be in circle. So yeah, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna run and go get my son.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Ware.
Well, I
Or
can't.
Jason, sorry.
No, you're fine. Actually, I can't. I'm lying. I can't. Mom got it. But I'll see you over.
I hope you beat that traffic.
Yeah, go Cougars.
I'm sorry.
And you're winning. You got another one. Yay. Okay, so that takes us to fundraising event. Okay, so we have one that is for the library. And just as a reminder, everybody, this is just because this was submitted the day of the last meeting, so there was no time to put it on the agenda within the next 24 hours. That's why it was not passed at the last And you guys should all have a copy, the fundraising and county proposal. It is for, out scholastic funds raised will be used for library needs. And anticipated revenues, just under $7,000. Anyone have anything they want to discuss? That's the only fundraiser, correct?
And then the contracts.
Yeah, but that's later in the agenda. It's just fundraiser and fundraiser. And just to be clear, Debbie,
Well, no, I just was,
there was some like,
was there, Mr. Zayas, did you communicate with anyone in terms of, after the last LSC meeting about, why we didn't pass it last time? Just wondering in terms of, I just want to make sure everyone is clear why we didn't vote on it last time. Like in terms of, is there any confusion with the staff or around why we didn't pass it last time?
I did speak to the librarian and let her know that we needed the contract, which wasn't attached last time, so.
Okay, but again, I wanted to clarify, we actually didn't even talk about the contract last time. It was simply because we didn't have it as a voting item is the only reason. It had nothing to do with any other reason. I just want to
that's
make sure
what we
that's
said at the
clear.
last meeting, and we just want to be crystal clear that it's literally just a procedural thing because it wasn't given to us in time so that we could have it on the agenda within the 48 hours the agenda was supposed to.
And thank you for getting the contract so we can be in compliance with all of that.
Okay. So then,
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Is this open to parents?
yeah,
Yes.
welcome. We are just about 1 hour in. Okay, so then, it's a little tricky because it's like a fundraising item, but it's also a contract, but I guess. What do you put on it?
I think that just in terms of procedurally, because we have a vote, we know that there is a contract
Yeah.
that we will be voting on to approve later, so we can approve the event
Yeah, I think
at this
that's fine.
voting item.
Yeah, okay. So would someone like to make a motion
I
to,
have a quick question.
yes,
I know that Ms. Lynch, spoke to some of us in regards to also doing a Spanish book fair. So I'm just wondering, is that not gonna happen, or are we approving a contract for one? Is this one?
This is just one, just the one.
Okay. So this is just the one that's coming up? Okay. Okay. So there still is time to do another one? Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
okay.
With regards to the contract, is that what
No,
No,
we're
just
just
the
first the event and then we'll go to the contract.
The contracts will be at the end of the meeting. For fundraisers, I always put the vote at the start because sometimes we have like teachers or people from spelling who have to leave or can't stay for the whole meeting. It's just as a courtesy, that's what we do that, so they know. Okay, so would someone like to make a motion to approve the event, which is the Scholastic fundraiser?
But that's my question related to the thing, before we take the vote. My question is, okay, the contract itself doesn't have like, signature, who is, in other words, how do we address that in terms of our duties and responsibilities as an LSC? So is it because there's, in others, there's like a signature?
So I think when we get to the contract part, we can talk about it, if that makes sense.
So we vote on it.
We're just voting on the event itself.
Right, but shouldn't we understand the contract first before we vote on something? I would think, Mr. Attorney, shouldn't we have like the info?
I don't think we need
I
to,
don't
but
know.
unless you have something,
How-
unless you have a comment about the event itself. If you have a comment about the contract, we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
But isn't the event is the contract?
So one is saying we support approving that the event can be held, and the other one would be saying that we have concerns about the contract and questions about the contract that need to be addressed, but we can still.
Before we approve.
Yeah.
Okay, if I'm buying something, I want all the answers first before I send it off on the contract.
You can,
You know,
you can talk about it, you can talk about it
I
now if you
agree,
want.
just,
Yeah, because we have it for discussion like at that point.
But you can ask.
You can ask about it now.
Yeah,
Yes, I think that should be the way we should proceed, that we can't vote on something unless we have all the details, at least, the way I would proceed, and just my own personal things. And I appreciate it, for giving us, making us, question. So I think that, before we vote on contracts such as Scholastic, I think that there should be like a general plan of what we're going to do in terms of book fairs. I think that's very important. And I think that in the past, we have asked and we have not received, the response in terms of, we have 2 Scholastic book fairs. We have not had one that addresses the needs of our community, which is we need those books in Spanish. So I think that along with looking at this event, that we also need to recognize that we should also do a planning along with our librarian. So when we put these in motion, they are costly, all books are costly, and I do think that in the future, we should consider first having lending of sales of the Spanish books. Because I think that that's what our community needs. We're always saying more Spanish, that's what we're asking only to recognize our need for more Spanish. So I think that should also, instead of, or letting the community know at the same time, look, we're going to have these 2, so they know how to budget. Nowadays, parents are learning more that we need to budget. Everybody's not getting, everything's going up more costly and, those rates are coming in. So I think that should be planned for in the future, where we know that, or the parents, the community know that there are going to be X number of book fairs, and which one is going to, they can then decide which one addresses their needs more. So, okay, that's my comment.
The one question I have following up on that is that in general, when teachers are presenting fundraisers, they're here to answer questions. Was Ms. Lynch invited to come and present it, just in case there were questions?
No, she wasn't invited.
As a standard practice, if we could just clarify that anyone who's presenting fundraisers, the LSC always has lots of questions. We try to limit them, but I think it's important to have them here because they're, in the past, things haven't passed because people wanted more information and it just delays the situation. So I don't want to delay it, and I think we should vote on it today, but if that can be communicated to Ms. Lynch, please. Mr. Sykes, if you could communicate that.
I know just from talking with her that, and I just texted her, but I know just in talking with her that they are sending an extra, I don't know what the measurement is, an extra cases or something of Spanish language books, that she did request that to be included in this book fair. So I know that we will have more Spanish books than generally, but I don't know the vocabulary of how many we're getting, so if that comes.
I think the concern has been that Scholastic they provide books that are translated, which is very different than buying like authentic Spanish books or in the language.
And she is open and working on
So-
Spanish books.
she kind of-
winter.
I don't wanna talk to her,
fair,
but
spring,
we have discussed it.
Yeah.
And I think I just want to commend it. In the past, there's been lots of parents who've asked for working with, they're members of our community who have bilingual bookstores, and there's, I think, lots of interest in that. And I've heard just through the grapevine that she is open and excited to learn with that. So I think they're not mutually exclusive.
I think we had, a couple years ago, in some of the events, we did have one of the Spanish bookstore sellers, like communities, selling books in Spanish. So maybe that's something that could be done.
So just clarifying in terms of process, do you have questions about the contract, or can we move to a motion to
Well,
vote?
the question about the contract was, since it's the LSC duty and responsibility to approve contracts and sign off on contracts, how do we, in other words, the way I see the contract, nobody's signing off on it, is that, the contract doesn't adjust.
You mean there's like not a space for a signature, is that what you mean?
Right, like who takes the responsibility? Is it the librarian? Is it the principal? Where?
Isn't Monica Smith the representative for?
I will say, as someone who signs lots of things, contracts for my work, nowadays, just with the virtual thing, a lot of times it's just like, this is the agreement, and it's like more like an invoice type situation, and there isn't, it's all done virtually, and they're not always e-signatures.
As long as we have it in the minutes that we move it.
Sometimes not.
I think the name of the scholarship representative is in the.
It's on
Yeah.
there, but this doesn't appear to be a contract.
Right,
Yes.
It's an agreement after a contract has been signed, so has a contract been signed already?
No, it's not.
So this is the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're
it doesn't
either-
have a date, it doesn't say, like 1 book fair, 2 book fairs, 10 book fairs.
I think sometimes there is and sometimes there isn't, I don't know if there is an additional contract after this, do you know, Mr. Lenz?
The only thing that we received from Scholastic was the certificate of agreement for the upcoming, the prospective, Scholastic.
Okay, I mean, I make a motion to approve the Scholastic book fair.
I second.
I think and I apologize for this, but we were right, Justin, it has to be a roll call vote, and we have a virtual vote.
Yes, we
This
do.
came up last year.
Yeah.
So now we remember.
Just give me a second.
Yeah, so let me know when you're ready to roll call.
Did you second?
Justin.
Yeah.
Julia.
Julia.
Oh, sorry, Justin, okay. Clarification? One second. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so we're gonna do a roll call vote for this. Jenny Dale,
Yes?
Jamal Jackson,
Yes.
Virginia Minnesota,
Yes.
Norian, yes. Julian Tamayo.
Yes.
Julie Wexler, yes. Jessica Mann,
Yes.
Kristen Rayfeld,
Yes.
Margarita Rosa,
Yes.
Justin Sia.
Yes.
Benjamin Piparal,
Yes.
yes. Juan Corrazais.
Yes.
Okay, and then Araceli Smith. So that passed unanimously. Great. Okay, so that takes us to fundraising events and reports. We have a student report first. You have one? Do you have a student report?
About like
going on?
Yeah, what's going on, questions, concerns,
Anything you want to
comments?
share?
Anything you want to share?
Oh, okay. Well, I talked to Mrs. Zayas about the lunch and recess thing, but he said that was like you couldn't change it. But no, there's not much right now.
We talked about the stalls.
Mm-hmm. We talked about putting like barriers in between the urinals and the boys' bathrooms, which I think would help a lot because, I mean,
For obvious reasons.
yeah, but for privacy, and Mrs. Zayas is working on that.
What was the concern about the recesses?
I mean, a lot of people were just saying like why it happened. There wasn't much.
Like why happened to?
Or
before?
why did they change it? Because it's always been the other way around.
How was that making students feel?
Just kind of weirded out. Like why did it happen? But we've adjusted to it now.
Did you prefer it the other way, or
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
did you why did you prefer it the other way?
I just think that like when you eat before you play, everybody tells you that you could vomit.
All right, thank you.
And Benjamin, just so that you know, on the agenda each month, like if you have, I know you talked to Mr. Zayas, but if you have concerns of like things that you hear that you would like, this is an opportunity for like you to tell parents and teachers like concerns that students have. Feel free to bring other things that you want to share with us or talk to us about that you're concerned about.
Thank you. This takes us to the principal's report.
I know that a lot of questions from the LSC that were from last time because of time and those answers to those questions so they can come to the public record and not just emailed to the LSC. Would like to see if we can go through those questions before the formal presentation. I know what other people on LSC think.
I think that's reasonable, yeah. Yeah, because we're in our second hour. We're just like about 1 hour into the meeting. We started at like 5:06. So we're moving along at a decent pace, but we do have a lot on there. So Principal Zayas, maybe you want to take the email, Debbie, that was.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
we
I'll
just go through
start.
those one by one. Thanks.
So with regards to providing the 20th-day enrollment numbers, we're at 543. That takes into account kindergarten through 12th grade enrollment only. So that's our number moving into the budget season for next year, 543. Should I just move on to?
And just asking for questions.
Should I'll pause? Should I pause after?
That'd be great.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
And also, if you can speak louder.
We've got lots of comments that people have a hard time hearing it.
Okay. Should I repeat?
I think it's fine.
Yeah, so 543 on the 20th day from 560, which was on day 1. Is that what initial enrollment means?
Initial enrollment means the projected number based on the previous year, but on the 20th day, which is what the question was, it's 543.
Okay. So down from the budget slightly, right?
Slightly. Some of that, to be quite honest, is the news that was sent to the schools kind of late with regards to busing not being available until December. A lot of parents are upset, and I believe that was a surprise to all the principals as well.
Anyone else before we move on to question 2? We're good. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Second question was about confirming the compatibility of the microphone, which was discussed at the last meeting. So the microphone, from what I was able to see, gets powered and also does video via a cable, a USB-C to USB-C connectivity, so it provides power and also does the video. From my understanding, again, I'm not a technology person or the tech coordinator, but our computer laptops here at the school do have USB-C, but from my understanding, it's only to charge the actual laptop, not to receive, that might be wrong, not to receive the video as well as charging the device. I also expressed some concerns about the cost, which is $1,949.99. There is an adapter that could also be bought for another $15. That would convert it from USB-C to just regular USB, in which case it could be plugged into a school laptop. I made some suggestions around possibly having the LSC as a group doing fundraisers to kind of offset some of that price or the whole $2,000. The other thing that I noticed was that the box top, when I ran a grant search, the box top did show up and it did have a donation letter attached to it. It is dated quite a few years ago, March 31st, 2022. And in my conversations with the budget department, they said that the LSC could vote to repurpose those funds as they see fit. And that's, I guess, we're voting on that possible book transfer later.
So just for a point of clarity, we already voted on it and then it passed. So I think
We have to actually mention into the minutes the actual budget line that it's going to.
We did last time.
We did. And we
Where it's going to.
We did the whole thing and Ms. Winding, we did.
So my understanding is that it doesn't have to
It's
go
an expenditure.
anywhere because we're just spending from that line item, isn't that correct?
We still need to move it to the accurate line because it's a technology piece. It has to actually go to a budget line, and that budget line needs to be read into the minutes.
And then I already annotated it correctly, so this is not an LSC meeting purchase, this is for the school. And we had a long talk about that.
So again, just to clarify for the minutes, so everyone can hear, as a magnet school who has families who live far away in many different times, virtual meetings are an essential piece to ensure that families are engaged. That can be for hybrid virtual IEP meetings, that can be for presentations by the principal. This is a piece of technology.
Justice coordinator.
The event for the, where you're especially, if it's just one person presenting in front of their computer, it can, it's not an issue. When you have hybrid events, where you have multiple people speaking, you have discussions, it is challenging, it's not accessible. So as a piece to make it accessible for our community, last time we voted to use this expenditure. There have been other discussions about other technology and other ideas, but that was last month's meeting. We've been talking about it since the beginning of the school year, since, at least issues of sound and accessibility since I've been on LSC. This is my 4th year. So in terms of opportunities for other brainstorming, other things, I do feel that we've had ample time to be able to do that. I also want to note that the donation letter that the principal is referring to is only referenced to $200 out of the $2,000 balance. So I think, thank you for finding that letter, but I don't see that that is an issue. And as an LSC, as you said, we can move on to allocate those funds. And again, those funds in that line items have been there and have not been used, and this can be used, invested in a piece of technology that can serve our community and our school. Again, to be specific, school-wide use. So based on that, thank you for answering those questions. And we can
Sure. Can I just comment? There were other, I believe it was Julia, who actually sent us cheaper version, maybe you can.
It was just because you had mentioned the money and I felt that, I just asked my husband, because he works with computers, and he found a one that will work as supposedly as well as the $2,000 one for $400.
And just as a point of procedure, what Jen said, like the expenditures weren't even voted on.
Yes.
Approved.
And it was just in case we could not use those funds.
Right.
It was just an idea. It was just, if we kind of spend the $2,000.
And I mean, this is somewhat, I'm just unclear on why a donation letter for a dinner dance grant, is that your question from 3 years ago, is in this, even in this location? It seems like it's before your time, I think. It seems like it's newer, and so it maybe needs to go back to something else, right?
No, but the letter is the letter itself is clear.
Yeah.
Remember, it does not say Backstown.
That's right.
They're donating $200 and it's for the dinner dance.
I
The
think
dinner dance is at the
Navia.
the Villa, and they received their $200.
Right, so that's what I'm saying, I think it's an error. It's not your time, but it's probably an error.
But it has nothing to do with.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what we are saying, that it was an error.
So maybe.
But we want it clarified in the minutes so that,
Yes.
as we go through this, it's
If this
clear
appears to be.
that we're not abusing these funds from this, from Fabiola Diaz. The funds, for $200 check was used for that dinner.
It appears that this is an error, that's right, Principal Zias, were you here on June 12th?
No, that predates me.
Yeah, so
But
it,
when I ran
Yeah.
the search, that's what showed up, so I just want everyone to be informed. And that's why
and I would say that
bring
money is
everyone's
supposed to be
attention.
spent for June 10th, 2022, right? So as best we can tell, it's an error.
But from what we have enough on
We
the
have
box
enough
tops.
anyway.
And box tops are to fund school needs where
Yeah.
you know, whatever the school decides, so.
I don't know if you can look into it and figure out if that $200 needs to go to,
Maybe we put it
But I
back
don't
into
think-
it
the,
doesn't matter for this though.
Because there's no way to know
Yeah.
if that letter is connected, there's no way to know that $200 of that total is connected to that
Exactly.
regardless. What it is it's connected, in terms of the counting system, but because it's before our time, we can't ask anybody,
Right.
so,
It is what it
it's
is.
an error.
Okay,
That's
so
noted.
that answers that question, and then it's just a transfer to the technology line that would need to be voted on later in the. Okay, so then the RJC, I know we spoke about that with Mr. Ware, is there anything, that's the next item? Is there anything else you need, are we good? We're good, right? Cool.
The next question was around. Next question was around fundraisers, non-school versus others. So I did provide the council with a PDF on the specifics on what goes into fundraisers and other budget items. But a high overview is school fundraisers. Those are fundraisers that are happening on school grounds. We use either cash or e-pay only. And I'll just read to benefit those who are at home. All fundraisers require prior approval prior to the start of the fundraiser by the principal. The network chief approves all fundraising activities, and the local school council approves fundraisers conducted with outside organizations. A fundraiser is any activity, event, sale to raise funds by or for a school club or program occurring on school grounds, whether before, during, or after school hours. Fundraisers must be clearly defined and benefit the student body or school-affiliated student group conducting the fundraiser within the same year the funds were raised. Before any fundraising activity begins, the local school fundraising accounting proposal agreement form must be completed and submitted to the principal, the network chief, and local school council, if applicable, for approval. And what if applicable means if there's a third-party vendor involved in the fundraising. Notify the clerk before the fundraising activity begins to ensure accurate bookkeeping within 10 school days of the last day of fundraising activity. The school treasurer, i.e. clerk, must submit to the network office a completed local fundraising accounting report. This will account for the actual amount of funds raised. Once the fundraiser is complete, proceeds could be moved to the proper activity account to which the funds were collected forward. So those are all of the procedures for an in-school, on-school grounds fundraiser. For non-school fundraisers, those are things that happen outside of the school. When the money gets into the school, we treat it as a grant, gift, or donation. So that means if we receive monetary grants, gifts, or donations, the funds are to be receipted and then deposited into the school's checking account. That would need to be accompanied by a donation letter detailing the use of the donation. And the funds have to be used for that purpose or within those guidelines of the donation letter.
I have questions.
Yeah. What's the first?
Go ahead.
No, yeah, go ahead.
No, we have to talk about it. So my question is, e-pay then, it's how we pay like the school fees. If there is a fundraiser by a parent association that is being planned before, how does the parent association like FELE need to use e-pay to receive money?
If it's on school grounds, yes.
So if, for example, we are having a sale,
Okay.
and they're
Where's the
selling,
sale taking place?
like we've done it in the past in the cafeteria, we had a mercadito, and we were selling hot chocolate, and someone buys 10 hot chocolates. Do they have to pay with eBay? ePay,
Or
sorry.
e-pay or cash.
Okay. I do not understand, if that money is going to FELE, why does it have to be paid through eBay?
So we met with FELE. FELE actually met with myself. It was the president. Virginia, you were there. And what was there? It was Maritza and you and Mrs. Jackson. And myself, we met with the director for internal accounts, and that is the directive from internal accounts.
So any money that gets exchanged, like, so then FELE will have to have an ePay to get money? Or does the school supposed to receive their money from ePay?
And that's
what I don't understand. That's why I don't
time.
understand.
So again, it's ePay or cash. FELE, if they want to do the mercadito, they need to do
Just cash.
They could do cash or
What
ePay.
about, for example, we are preparing the mercadito and we are renting, like selling the spots,
So-
like the tables, like people pay to sell at the mercadito. Is the money supposed to go through ePay too? Even though it's done,
So explain that to me.
Like if you're a vendor.
if you're a
and you're
vendor,
selling your
use
space.
rent, like a space to
You're
sell.
renting the space.
Yes, so you pay $40 for a 6-foot table.
Mm-hmm.
Does the money have to be paid with ePay, even though they don't pay at the school, they pay outside of the school, and they don't pay it all at once. They pay
I do wanna, so
let me-
I just
let me
wanna,
ans- Let me answer her question first. So you're asking.
I just want to
correctly-
understand about how ePay,
Yeah.
why ePay will apply and not apply.
So in that case, from my understanding, and again, Virginia was there with us during this conversation, FELE, we need to prepay for those tables, and then ePay, deduct it from the proceeds from ePay or cash. That was my understanding.
So-
When we were meeting with the director of internal accounts.
Sorry, I just want to go, I think I have to interrupt because we are asking people who are not experts in the regulations, their interpretations of a meeting. And so in terms of, LSC Relations has come and talked to us about LSC approvals of fundraisers. FELE is a registered nonprofit organization. And so I think that before we discuss in terms of decide how that and FELE and that works, the LSC has to have a conversation with that person, and we need to invite them to explain that, because that is not what I've seen or heard in any other school in terms of nonprofit organizations who are doing fundraisers for schools, having funds directly sent to the school and not being able to administer an event.
So I am not saying that they can't administer an event, I'm saying the way that the funds are collected have to follow protocol. So for example, you are exactly right, FEL is a 501c3. If they are selling tickets for the gala, right? They can use any kind of platform as long as it's happening outside of the school property. I think is one, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Zephyr is one of the platforms that they want to use for selling gala tickets.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine. When there's an activity on school grounds, it's e-pay or cash.
So if the Cubs want to have an event here to raise money for us, they have to send their money to you directly, and how are they getting reimbursed for event costs
So
and
I
things
don't know
like
what
that?
event this.
Any,
type of-
a
it's just like a theoretical event. This is
a
a
nonprofit
theoretical
wants to
event.
have an event, and they have to send you money and then get reimbursed for their costs of the event before that, there's not a donation there. That makes no sense. Like, I'm hosting an event.
For like the scholastic, if my kid, the
That's a
kids
different,
buy,
because that's a third party vendor, so that's.
so it doesn't have to be e-pay. So if the kids wanna buy books with a credit card, they can buy with credit card.
On the
They can't
on the
according to the
Scholastic
agreement, yes.
platform, they have a Scholastic platform
Yes.
that they can put money
According to
on.
the agreement, you
So-
can't use a credit card to pay.
Directly
So
to
could
them.
that be e-pay too? And that's what, and I don't know if you know, I mean, I'm trying to understand because
Yeah,
I don't understand.
well, yeah, that's an excellent question. It's a third party. It is a nonprofit. It's a fundraiser and it's on school grounds. So then technically the Scholastic Book Fair should be cash or e-pay, right?
And not
So I
through
don't
their
understand
portal.
why
Yeah.
the person from, I'm trying to understand why did the person from the organization, like the CPS, explain that why it had to be e-pay? I don't understand.
And I'm saying that contradicts exactly what LSC Relations was here 2 years ago and went through and explained to us what the difference between school fundraisers and third-party fundraisers, and that there's restrictions for school fundraisers and others, and that was not part of the conversation, which is new to me. And if this is a new procedure, then new training has to be done to explain to teachers and LSCs what the procedure is, because asking a nonprofit to not be able to control the funds of their event, it seems not correct. And so I don't think, and Mr. Zayas is not an expert in the policy, it's his interpretation at the meeting, that others at the meeting could have a different interpretation, and thus the people need to come and be able to present to us.
So
what that is.
it's not an interpretation, that's a direct quote from the director. If
That
it
any
happens-
nonprofit-
if
any
it happens-
nonprofit.
If it happens on school grounds, it's either e-pay or cash.
So can you please then, the Scholastic should be asked about.
Except that, for example, like Mercadito, you guys rent the space, you normally rent the space. And Fiesta was a rented space, so we were exempt from having to follow those on-property events because
If you rent
it
the
was
space.
it was rented. It's like if someone else came and rented the space, they would be in charge of how they received all of their money and how they organized the event.
So that is.
And
the
that I confirmed
change.
that with someone from Department of Operations, because we had a lease to rent the space, and I reached out to them, and they confirmed that because it was a rented space, we were exempt from any of the policies that oversee that, except the things that were on the contract, which is no fireworks, no alcohol, and there was one other thing that was on there.
But the person, otherwise, every money that gets exchanges hands in the school property has to go through e-pay or cash.
Other than that, yes, if it's a school-led fundraiser, or if Fele comes into the school to do like, the dances or something else that happens in the school, then yes, the money has to be collected.
Like selling
Cash.
popcorn for the movies.
Correct.
That would be through e-pay or cash.
Are we,
If it's like a teacher-led one, yes.
Okay.
What
But
if
if
it's
it's
Fele?
can I ask for clarification
Can
here?
we just ask the question?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of like unclear whether or not if it happens 30 minutes after the end of the school day, on school property, whether or not you're exempt from those
Virginia,
things.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but that 30-minute window only applies to food, not the actual.
Yeah, so
service.
popcorn would be food at 4:30 afterwards, that would be considered concession stands.
Yeah.
High schools, that's exactly what they do, they sell concessions at their events, that's considered after our school hours, it's not considered during the school day. So you are also exempt from having to follow, like as if it was an in-school fundraiser.
That's not what I heard at that meeting, but to
I'm
Ms.
reading
Dale's
it
point,
from the
what we can
LSC
do is we
resource
can
guide.
actually have someone come.
So from the LSC
internal
resource guide, if we're talking about food, outside of school hours, example, between 30 minutes after the final bell and midnight.
So
And then
example.
if we're talking about money being sent to the school, is that what it is before the event happens?
No, it's saying during the school event or related to the school event, does the money related to that, the fundraising event, have to go through the school or can it go to the nonprofit?
No, it says in here, in the new LSC resource guide, it says, all funds raised on behalf of students or the school by registered external organizations or school parent organizations must be turned over to the school at the conclusion of the fundraising event and deposited into school internal accounts. So I don't know where Mr. Zeiss is getting information, but this is our new.
Conclusion of the event means
You.
either in cash with a payee's list of.
But that's not what you
the
were
actual
saying.
account or through ePay.
At the conclusion
At the
of the
conclusion, so at
event.
the end of the event, after they've collected their money, they can either provide a check to you, ePay, or cash at
Into
the end of their event. But they can collect money in any
Yes.
way they want during their event.
Yes,
During the event, I don't.
I mean, that's.
that's what it
That's
says.
what it says, that a nonprofit can collect money for their activities in any way, because again, if I'm having an event and I have costs that I need to deduct from that event, how am I going to have all the money go to the organization and then have the school pay me back money?
Yeah.
That doesn't, how does that even accounting work?
Everything we said and what we just looked at confirms this.
This is what he said.
So yes, the funds get turned over to the school at the conclusion of the event.
And I was looking for
During the
ePay,
event, as long
what it
as-
says about ePay, and I could not find anything
No.
related to this.
As long as it meets
So-
these criteria, we talked about, you renting the space or you wait the 30 minutes, et cetera.
But we
you
should
can
have it
collect whatever way you
clarified.
want, yeah.
All it says
And just so you
is
know,
collecting
like,
through
as
payers
I'm doing
list.
the trainings, I've reached out to LSC Relations, I've called, and no one has responded. So it's left in blank, right? Like, I'm trying to figure out like what exactly they need, so that I'm not misinterpreting anything. And there's nobody on the other end that has responded
Ms.
to any
Whiting,
of those items.
Yeah, Ms. White, and I do want to clarify that again, also on the resource guide, it doesn't state ePay, it says, payer list.
Correct.
To collect, or to keep track of the money that was given, so there's nothing in here that says ePay. Ms. Winding is on and she, Ms. Winding, you can,
Yeah, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you for permission to speak, Chair. So good evening, everyone. I don't have a clean answer for you. We did just there's some things that we are updating, and so I will need an opportunity to dissect this a little more. We did just have a meeting with internal accounts, and they shared that things have to be collected ePay or cash if it's on the school grounds, but if it's off the school grounds, it could be collected in the desire of whoever's hosting that event. And I understand what you're saying, that it's a third party. You're saying if they're renting the space, can they collect money any way they want and then just turn the money into the school? Is that the question?
Yeah,
Yes.
ePay, basically, right?
Or
cash.
however they deposit it.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. And so allow me an opportunity, because I don't want you guys to get stuck on this. Allow me an opportunity to clear this up with our internal accounts, because there does appear to be some disconnect. And I don't want to give you false information, but because we were trying to iron it out as well. Because when you compare, like, okay, if we're collecting money for Scholastic, like, I get it. You're saying that I'm hearing the real concerns here, so I'm not going to pretend there's an easy answer. Allow me some time to meet back with internal accounts, but Zeiss is not, he's speaking correctly from what he heard. in that meeting with internal accounts. So we're going to revisit this so that we can have a clearer path around the fundraising, because what we don't want to do is interfere with the progress of a school getting funds for things that they need. So there's some clarity we need to define on our end. So allow me an opportunity to kind of revisit this point. And I don't want you all to get stuck on it because I don't have a magic answer. And he was just told that in a meeting. We were all told that with internal accounts. And so let us iron that out, and hopefully we can just figure out a way in the interim to still achieve having this fundraiser. And if we can collect it, e-pay or cash, so that we can be successful and reach our desired outcome, let's take that route. And I'll own the mistake here or the confusion, and allow me an opportunity to get clarity around that, please.
Thank you, Ms. Wendy. And as a follow-up question, I think also what needs to be clarified is that if, again, a third party is having an event where there are expenses that they need to deduct from that, if the funds are going directly to the school, how do they get those funds to cover those expenses? Which is why the confusion of it would be different if it's just a direct donation or something that's going to the school. But if a third party is organizing an event, that would be important to clarify of how they cover the cost of their event based off of these new procedures.
And if I can please ask you, because I'm driving, if you can email that, send it to me. So, because I want to make sure I have that language correct so that I can give you an answer so that you guys can move forward. Because again, we don't want to interfere with progress. And that's what I feel like is happening right now. And I'll own that part, but allow me an opportunity to get clarity. So just email me your question or concern regarding this process. And I'll get an answer to you. But like I stated, if there is a way for this to happen, and you guys, since we do know that e-pay and cash is acceptable, we don't want to allow something like this to get in the way of something that can happen. So if we can do that, let's do that. Send me the question. Give me to next week, because today is already Thursday, to get an answer for you guys, and I will own that one.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
want to make it as easy as possible for parents and community members to give money, basically. Right?
Yes, that ultimately supports the school.
Exactly.
So the intentions are, I
The
think, in
least,
the right place.
least onerous process, most streamlined, which may be something else. Okay, thank you so much. So yeah, your questions.
Moving up to number 5. So what are the procedures teachers and employees should take if ICE were to be present at our school? What support / plan is available for students with a family member detained by ICE? So I've spoken about this in our newsletter. I recently sent out an email just kind of going over some of the things that we are working on. So I'll just read from my response that I sent to everyone. An Inter-American school, we want to reaffirm that our school is a safe and welcoming place for all students and families, regardless of background, language, and immigration status. Our priority always is the well-being, safety, and academic success of every child. So CPS provides support services for refugees and newcomer students. They include for parents the opportunity to participate in the BAC at schools, and the Chicago Multilingual Parent Council, as well as workshop programs and events focused on academic social skills, community resources for students, English learners, EL students, programs that build language skills and ensure access to classroom instruction, and that's prevalent here in our dual language program. Additional supports, families can connect with their school's ELPT or English language program teacher. That would be necessary for our school for resources and guidance. I provided an enrollment support hotline, phone number 773-527-3203. Parents with questions about their child's education or volunteers seeking to help newcomers can call for guidance and support. The role of parents in a child's education is vital. We encourage you to support your child with homework, attend school events, communicate with teachers. Your engagement makes a powerful difference in your child's academic success, social development, and overall well-being. Resources for families and community members can go to cps.edu/immigration. This is CPS's main webpage for immigration-related information, including CPS commitments to student safety, resources from community partners, information about constitutional rights, tips for traveling to and from school, guidance for applying for financial aid and higher education, regularly updated schedule of trainings, workshops, including Know Your Rights trainings and family preparedness workshops, state and local and board policies to protect students and staff are downloadable. The links that I provided in the LSC response have also been added to the email that was sent to parents. The packets for those links include tips for traveling to and from school, CPS safety protocols and commitments, information about women's constitutional rights and immigration services. There are a list of nonprofit agencies offering immigration assistance from ICIRR. The Illinois Immigration Information page was also a link that can be shared with parents once again. This is a collaborative one-stop shop with regularly updated materials and input from leading community partners, and it includes legal services and support. In addition to that information being shared to families, the safety team here at the school has met, and we went over most of these policies, including the CPS policies that we have in place here, not just here at this school, but every CPS school. And within those conversations, we discussed, what we can do to better support. I know that there are some schools that their attendance has been hurt because of, there's no other way to say it, all the nonsense that's going on. We don't want that for our students here at the school. So in the email that I sent out to parents, my suggestion to them was to, the best and safest thing would be to use the Kiss and Go for drop off. In that way, the parent doesn't need to get out of their vehicle, and Justin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they have legal rights if they stay within their vehicle. And the distance from the car to the door is much less. And with our new pickup program, or the Kiss and Go time being around 8:40, there's ample time for children to be dropped off safely and still protect those that might be undocumented by using the Kiss and Go lane. The other topic of discussion during the safety team meeting was looking for volunteers. And we have started that process. We are looking at individuals that have filled out that form. It needs to be sent out again because we only have about a handful of potential volunteers. But the idea there is to have volunteers more so in the more vulnerable places on CPS campus, and that's the turf, specifically during morning drop-off. Because we line up our kinder through third grade on the turf, it just makes sense to have extra volunteers, just keeping an eye out. The idea there is for the volunteers to be clearly identified with a lanyard that says volunteer, along with a whistle. The whistle is basically to alert everyone if, for whatever reason, there is the potential of law enforcement coming onto the turf. By using the whistle, that would alert the teachers who would bring in the students. It would, more importantly, alert the doors. So luckily this year we only have 3 openings, so that's door 3 at the turf, door 7, and door 5. We also have We've ensured that everyone has a walkie to be in constant communication. And at that point, we just follow CPS protocol. If someone does notice someone trying to get into the building, the protocol calls for someone on the walkie who's ever at the door to make notification of a possible, I don't want to call it a threat, but possible person, or ICE, whatever. I don't know, they come in different ways. I've heard rumors of them being bounty hunters as well. So whoever tries to get into the building, they will notify via the actual radios that we have, where administration and security would ensure that the conversations with those individuals, one, ensuring that they have assigned warrant for whatever reason they're saying that they want to get in, or for whomever. The idea there, though, is to make sure that that engagement happens outside of the building, and then ensuring that safety and security is contacted, the law department is contacted, and as close to real time as possible, and also ensuring that one of the security guards is actually filming the interaction for documentation purposes. So in essence, those are the broad strokes of what the safety team is kind of working out. But right now, the ask for the community is to, and I'll be sending out this email again that has the link for parents to volunteer. The ask for the community is to sign up. The idea is to have as many volunteers on the Kiss and Go side as well as on the turf.
I have a couple follow-up questions, so yes. I have some questions. How many people are on the safety team? And if you could share who they are, just so we, in terms of parents knowing if they have questions about things, I think it would be great to know who those folks are on the safety team.
So that would be myself, obviously. The Restorative Justice Coordinator. Ms. Belen, who is the union rep and PPC rep. That reminds me, we are going to be distributing flyers as well around information that the union, with regards to Know Your Rights, wants us to do. I think the target date for that is Friday, but she's going to try to get me more flyers. In addition to myself, Anna Martinez, who's the Restorative Justice Coordinator, Belen, who is the PPC and union rep. We also have Ms. Arce, who is the EOPT. And we also had Dr. Ceballos, who is a SPED teacher here.
So in your email, you had asked if parents wanted to join the committee. So have parents been invited to join the committee yet?
It's a principal-directed committee.
Right.
It's only for the decision-making process that happens within those teachers. We're asking for volunteers to be on the turf.
Okay, so the sign up was for volunteers, not to join that committee. It was unclear.
That is correct.
Okay, great. And so to clarify, when a whistle is blown, whether it be in the front or
We're
at the
still
school?
working on the logistics.
Okay.
Right, but when the whistle is blown, the indication, because the idea is to have the Welcome to Illinois Coalition come in and do trainings for these volunteers once we have enough. But the idea, or what has been done in other schools, is ice watch, basically. So when an individual volunteer sees someone who is dressed as they dress, which is almost military, if they're coming or around the turf. And what makes the turf particularly kind of vulnerable is, one, that it's a big open space and there's access on the wavelength side. So the idea there is if someone sees an ICE enforcement truck, car, personnel, they blow the whistle, that would notify the seekers that are out there and the individuals that are at the doors that something has happened. So they put an all-call on their walkies to let everyone know, and then they let us know the location, and then myself, security, Other administrators, assistant principals, they go there, and the idea, as I said, is to address the situation and keep it outside of the school. That obviously, if it happens on the Fremont, the Kiss and Go side, that means the sidewalk. If it happens on the turf, then it's us telling that individual that you are standing on school property, we need to go to the Fremont side, right? Because they can't go in the parking lot either.
So and when that happens, I just want to be clear, if that happens, yes, we hope that doesn't, pray God. Are parents also allowed to come into the building? Like, those are the safety protocols, like students and parents, whoever's there who's vulnerable can come inside the building. I'd like to just to think about that.
That's one thing that we are trying to figure out, because if it were to happen, right, and we needed obviously to shelter someone, we want to do that.
Okay.
But again, those are.
I totally understand that. Just a couple of points for you to know. There are many parents who are already part of our community urgent responses, and we have had support from community groups that are wearing vests, that are also have their whistles and have been trained, that parents and community groups have been doing, that you'll see. And so it'd be great when you all have that to be able to communicate with those folks. That I think the clarity piece is, I understand wanting to have enough people, but the country has legalized racial profiling. So it's not about undocumented or documented. It is about brown and black folks being targeted. And that's happening like right now in our neighborhoods, in schools by where I live. And this is a Latino majority school. And so I would say the sense of clarity and urgency, even before it's perfectly set up, where we have all the, like, that's the ideal situation, but it's emergency response is right now. And so hopefully nothing happens, but there already have been, some potential sightings, some different things, and having it super clear that parents know if there's a kiss and go, parents need to stay in their cars, or the kids are where they're supposed to go. So that, and everybody knows clearly, or if they're going inside, everybody knows exactly what's supposed to happen, because just blowing whistles can create chaos. And so I just want to make sure, and fear, and we don't want that. And so, however, there are lots of people in the community who want to support, and I understand that your committee is principal-led, but there are folks that are already organizing in our local communities who want to support and are already doing that. So I just want to make
I would suggest for those people to, if they're parents, to sign up on the volunteer form.
I know they have already.
Just two questions. Are our security guards having trained them? And then once we have a protocol, or this has been shared about, like with the whistle, so the community knows when there's a whistle, this is what's gonna happen, or this is what you can do. Have we shared that, or when you figured that out? You said you were still figuring it out.
So, as I said, we need to get enough people to actually volunteer. That's one. The second thing is that they need individual training. Those volunteers are going to.
So we will not have the protocol until we have.
We do have a protocol.
Okay.
We have a CPS protocol.
Yes, but about the whistle.
What if someone hears the whistle? What are they supposed to do?
Yes, that's what
they're not going to have whistles until they get trained. We need more people.
Okay.
Once they get trained, then that'll be.
I'm worried that we're not going to have this in place. Let's say something happens tomorrow. We don't want it to happen, but we talk about training. We got to do this. We got to do that. We don't know if parents can come into the school, for protection. Like, this is stuff that we should have had already in place, because they're here. We're hearing it on the news. They're around, and I just feel like
I'm sorry. I'll wait till.
There's a lot that we discuss here that's just like, well, we're gonna, this needs to happen, and before this happens, this is not one of these things that we can just sit here and just be like, this is, we're working on it. We're working on it.
So, I'll wait until you're done. I'm sorry.
I am. I'm waiting.
Okay. So, again, it's not about waiting until we're done, right? We have these protocols in place. They have been given to our security. So we have these protocols in place. We're adding a different layer on top of what we already have in place, which is, again, trying to get additional parent volunteers to add another layer of the protocols that we already have in place.
But you
I
had
will just
mentioned about
add-
parents.
Yeah, I just will add, there are parents who work professionally for immigrant rights organizations. Many parents have whistles already that they're monitoring in their own communities. So people with whistles are out there, and I just want to know that people, if they hear a whistle, everyone should know what to do.
Like the community members and the parents and like,
I have
yeah,
a
what you say.
question.
Yeah.
Question and comment. I attended a meeting on IT systems, and CTU gave a presentation on September 19th. CTU gave a presentation on what the protocol was, the CPS protocol was, and that included the federal agent safety plan. And so I'd like to know where you're at in terms of that plan with the security. Then I would also like to add that I think that we as a community are very much aware of that at this point we're at racial profiling. But we still need to address the needs of our undocumented families. And I think that even though you're talking about the TIS, okay, some of our families get here through public transportation. And they can be picked up at any moment. So I think that what we should do is let the families know that we are here for them. And if they need, we should identify, Mr. Sykes, you should be able to identify these families and let them know, along with Ms. Ashley. Let them know that we care about them and that we are willing to do carpooling for them. In other words, we don't want these students to be missing school. We don't have so many that we can't, our school is a magnet school and we do have less undocumented than in other schools. But we need to let them know that we care about them and that we're willing to work as a community. Identify where they're at, identify which of our families live close to them, and say, I can take your child to school, or I can pick up your child from school. I think that is so necessary, and I think that would be an act of love for this community, and help them recognize that we're there for them. And then at any point when you do finish up with the federal agent safety plan, you can also share that with the others.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that from a community perspective, I think a lot of people are wondering what's going on and how this school is protecting its particular population. So I just wanted to commend you and the administration for being proactive. And I'm happy to hear especially that there are protections already in place. So we're looking forward to hearing more about how protections will be built on top of them.
And I think thank you, we at 7 o'clock, or almost 7 o'clock, so if we want to end at 8, we have 1 more hour, so
Yeah,
I think we should probably move on to the next point.
Can a separate email be sent to parents with this information as well as Know Your Rights meeting link? That email was sent, it did have that. As I said, I will send that same email out again. Number 7, what exactly was the new kindergarten teacher offered her job Thursday, September 4th, 4:24 p.m. That's the Thursday before the Friday deadline for feedback. I'll pause. Questions?
I would like to know why we even asked for our feedback if you weren't even going to take it.
I did listen to your feedback.
But you gave us a deadline for Friday. And I know that the kindergarten teachers got the email, I believe. They got the video, or it had to have been Thursday because we asked you to share with them.
It wasn't Thursday, it was before.
That's.
I guess the question is, why did you offer the position feedback? Right.
I feel like I kind of wasted my time.
I did get feedback from him,
But
so.
that's not.
That's not the deadline.
The question is, why did you offer the position before the deadline?
To ensure that she was able to start right away. And as quickly as possible, I didn't want to spend another week without a.
The deadline was less than 24 hours. So again, that's like, the deadline was 1 PM on September 5th, and that position was offered at 4:24 PM, which is basically the end of the workday on September. So in the spirit of collaboration, which we've discussed many, many times, this is not collaborative, and so we're asking for
So again, I wanted to ensure that we had the teacher in place as quickly as possible.
and you couldn't wait less than 24 hours.
Also, Principal
Yeah.
West, why did you not tell us that you had hired this person despite us giving feedback? You know, despite you asking us to give feedback, but you could have told us that you had already hired this person.
I think the question is, why didn't you? Is that the question?
Is there a reason why?
Again, I wanted to make sure that we have the teacher in place as quickly as possible for our kids.
Okay. Okay, it just felt very disingenuous, I think, to everyone who wanted to give feedback.
And I would note, I think we've used the term misleading before in how some of the interactions have happened, but based on the last meeting, and I would like to say that you lied to us. Like, I think wasn't misleading, it was lies. And I think it's important for the community to know that, like, teachers and parents who have full-time jobs, who have their own children, are volunteering their time to watch a video, to put detailed information together and send that to you. And then you did not take a moment to say, thanks for your feedback, thanks for taking the time. And by the way, I already hired them anyway, even though you're fulfilling the deadline that I set, that we set. So I would like to hear from you, how do you see that as trying to build trust with the community, and how do you see that as collaborative?
So again, the main concern here was having a fully qualified teacher in front of our students as quickly as possible. I did read and had conversations with teachers. I did read the comments that I had, or the responses that I had up until that point. Should I have followed up and informed you at Thursday at 4:24, like I have made a decision? Maybe I should have. But to say that I was lying, that's inaccurate.
So based on last meeting though, it was, because we asked you when you had hired them
And I was not sure.
It's really concerning, because it's just all these statements that say transparency, collaboration, and this is like a smack in the face to us, to offer us this feedback opportunity and give us a deadline, and then to find out after the fact that this is the way it happened. It's like a smack in the face. It's like, why are we even trying? And it's frustrating, especially because you emphasize over and over again transparency and collaboration, and this was like the antithesis of that. We don't have to dwell on it. I think it's in the minutes. We got to move on, right? It's noted that King's policy is not.
And the kindergarten team did not get it before we did. I will say that. So that is a lie. They did not get it on Wednesday.
Yeah, because you have to ask.
Yes, and I had also talked to them because I wanted to make sure that they were a part of the process.
And
because ultimately it does not matter. I'm sorry, and I appreciate everybody here. It does not matter in the end. I feel what we think and what we say, they have to work as a team. And the fact that one of them didn't, at least, well, the one that I talked to did not even know that that person was hired. Did not know that they had a team member hired. Is like just so, it's, to me as a teacher would feel disrespectful.
And honestly, to use an excuse that you wanted to do it as soon as possible when the offer was made at 4:24 PM on Thursday, and you could not wait until after 1 PM on Friday, like, that just doesn't make sense. Like, that's less than consistency.
I think
like that's not going to make it.
At this point, I feel like we just need to move on.
Yeah, we got it. You're right. Okay, number 8.
Question was, can you please provide the required educational minutes by grade level and subject and confirm that these are being fulfilled? So in the response, I also printed out the back of your packet. the elementary school scheduling as well as as well as the CCAS recess weather guidelines. So they are being followed. The 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, what we want to do is we want to make sure that the minutes are all being followed. So what we have done is for the portion that is advisory, and again, this is something that the teachers voted for. Advisory, even though it's a 55-minute block, the advisory itself is not SEL. It's not necessarily all SEL. It could be a 5 or 10-minute SEL lesson. And then the remainder of that time is dedicated to academics. So that's how we're ensuring that the minutes are actually being held or upheld. Additionally, for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, in the morning, if there is a need, the teachers are actually preparing their classrooms via Google Classroom to ensure that students are actually getting additional minutes as well. For the other grades, we give teachers basically the schedule for lunch, and that's that really can be changed, and recess. Teachers use that as well as the schedule that we give them for specials to work on their actual individual schedules. Those schedules have been reviewed by Mr. Avila, those timesheets, and he has said that they're actually meeting the requirements according to the scheduling guidance that I did offer you. The time distribution sheets that individual teachers have provided is what I was referring to.
Any questions? Yeah. I just, I sent Mr. Silas an email, specifically that, it says, could you please provide the required educational minutes by grade level and subject and confirm, okay, that these are being fulfilled. Your response is to send us the policy. All right. We're not asking for the policy. We asked you specifically to provide us with the exact schedule that is given to each of the students, and in turn they take it home to their parents, which by the way, a lot of parents said they have not received it. Okay, so this is what our community is requesting, is confirmation that these requirements are being fulfilled. We're not asking for the policy, we're asking that there's confirmation. Okay, so and then I asked you could please provide the IAMS weekly schedule, Monday through Friday by grade level, which you would have on hand because all of that should have gone out in the first year's classes, by grade. And then we can look at the chart itself and see, oh, okay, this is English language arts, this is math, what days they go, how many minutes are provided. So if you could, do you have those?
So what I could do something better. What I could do is provide a breakdown of all the time distribution sheets for each teacher. And you can see there how the time is exactly broken down by content. So I could do that.
I still do not understand this. I'm sorry.
Then I also ask you, if you could And then, and also address the academic achievement, and an intervention is supposed to be provided for the middle grades. So maybe in what you're saying, we will be able to see that. Okay, and then also, and I wish the student was, our student rep was still here. But there has been discussion among the students, and in fact, I believe they adjusted to you. They want to know why their English language arts class is divided into 2 half-hour classes. So in other words, they're there for a half an hour, trying to get organized and everything else, and then before you know it, they go on break, and then they come back for another half hour of English language arts. So neither of that is comfortable for the students. And it's also suggested that in the same policy guide that the class should be within 1 class period. You don't divide up English language arts or math class or any of those classes into 2 half-hour sessions. Because it breaks and during the middle of reading the book, discussion of the book, it breaks their thought process. So that's not best practices according to this policy that you say you're following. So we'd like an answer to that. When you ask the students, and I heard this from our representative, when you ask the students, you ask them directly, what would you like to change? If you could change something from the school, what would you change? And the kids specifically said to you, can we change that they have our the English language arts being broken up into 2 half-hour classes. So
What grade was this?
This is the grade that the students, 8th grade. So I think that's why we'd like to see the chart. We'd like to see why this decision was made to break up the English language arts, which is not best practices, which is not conforming with the policy. And we would like to see how we are addressing and making sure that all of the students receive their minutes of instruction.
Yes. So again, the best way to do that is the time distribution sheets that all the teachers have to prepare. And along with that, what I could do is ask the teachers to provide the reason for splitting that up. So I can speak to them about that and have that for you.
Our time distribution sheets are already up.
As soon as I can put those together for you, okay?
Okay, so today is Thursday. What day would you be able to have?
Give me a couple of days so I can actually speak to the teachers and just kind of let them know that that's what I'm doing.
Our time distribution sheets are already up in a document that he can pull up.
It's an internal document, so I want to make sure that I'm giving the teachers their, just so they know.
But they're also
this-
posted outside of, they're posted on all of our
just
classrooms,
so they
so.
know that this can be shared. That's going to be my preference, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to speak to them, and then I'll forward that information to you, okay?
I just had a quick question. So were the teachers given this as guidance when they came up with this scheduling? When they completed their time distribution, were they given this document as guidance? Because on here, it says that you should have no less than 45 minutes in the length of time chunked per the subject area. So I'm just wondering.
Yeah, so layered on top of that is also the OMA requirements for language allocation, right? So that our schedule is going to look slightly different than what that was intended for, which is pretty much.
We received our instructional minutes per language. That was it.
I mathematically, I do not understand how, if you have a 15-minute, what is it called? That class, but the 15 minutes that is social.
Are you talking about advisory?
The advisory, how you can have 15 minutes advisory and still have time to fulfill all the requirements. Mathematically, you can't, because you will have, there will be something missing, either, I don't know, but mathematically you cannot. So that's why I'm wondering, like.
I think that a lot of people might.
Yes. I mean, I try to figure it out, and if you have a 15-minute block every day for that, you're missing.
You're losing.
At least once a week, you are missing one class. I mean, I don't see how else you
And
can do it
adding
unless.
like 10 minutes or something, whatever it was, like broken up is,
That's per contract.
yeah.
But the 10 minutes is separate. It's
No, we're not
different
gonna
than this 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And that's not good.
So
How
that's
do you
why.
add it back in? Like you can't.
Yeah, like that's what I don't understand.
can't
If you have those 50 minutes allocated for something else, it has to be replacing something else. So I want to know what is it replacing and why is it replacing educational minutes? That's what I don't understand. So if we have those 50 minutes allocated for that, how can we have fulfill all the minutes, educational minutes, if we are missing 50 minutes? Do you have an answer for that?
So the 10 minutes in the morning when they are actually in class, because the start for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade is different than everyone else. Everyone else starts at 10 minutes after. That's how they get their 10 minutes of prep. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teachers voted as a group. They voted to flex that time and have those 10 minutes grouped together to 50
So
minutes.
that's only, those
So
50 minutes are only for 7th and 8th grade.
6th, 7th, and 8th.
7, 6, 7, 8.
So they start their day not at 10, they start their day at 9. So there is an opportunity there to make up that time, depending on what their subject is. And also, again, advisory, it's not an automatic loss of 50 minutes. When advisory does happen, it's much less than 50 minutes. Could be 10, could be 15. It's an opportunity to address issues that might be happening in that class. So in that case, it takes maybe the whole 50 minutes. But when that is completed, that portion of advisory is completed, the rest of the time is allocated to whatever subject matter.
But what if it's 50 minutes? What happens? I mean, because you are putting those 50 minutes in either math class, math time, or science, or ELA. So, I mean, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. And I think that seeing how the schedules are, because if it varies, then you do not know how much you're missing. So I do not understand why the teachers will chose to do it that way, or why,
So you want me to ask why the teachers flex that time?
or how do they think that they are fulfilling the minutes, the educational minutes, if they're doing it that way? That's what I don't understand.
No, I think we all feel that way, right? It doesn't make sense, and like, if you have like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, or 20 minutes there, that's not consistent, and the quality isn't the same, right? You can't program just to get started, it takes, right, teacher? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. In the 10 minutes in the morning, we didn't have I know for like the rest of us, that was not a vote. That was just
Right, that was
decided with, yeah, because either it was put
it was the additional 10 minutes.
in the beginning of the day or it had to be grouped with lunch or prep.
I
Recess
think,
or prep, yeah.
So it could be.
Yeah, I mean, we all agree, we gotta move on, but I think it's excellent.
As a point of order, I do want to say it's 7:18
Exactly.
and we need to make votes and.
There's some things we asked you to vote, some of those votes have to happen today.
So my recommendation is that we try to, next 10 minutes to finish the principal report. And then I would say that the transfer conversations and votes and public participation. I know that there's lots of important discussions around committees and the Cubs and all of this, but with that, I just don't see the time.
So no PPLC.
Yeah,
I
mean,
think
in
all
terms
the
of,
rest
like,
of the reports just have to be in the minutes, basically, right?
Right, and other discussions, I just don't see the
Yeah,
time.
and even though.
And I shared it with you.
Let's finish this up and we'll see, but I think, do you wanna make a motion?
No, I'm just saying, I would recommend we no
Let's
more than
finish
10
up the
minutes.
principal for 10 minutes, and then we'll see what we have to table to the next meeting.
You want me to table from question 9?
No, we were to finish, we said we'd try to finish in the next 10 minutes, right? Yeah.
Because this is not my principal report. These are questions that you all asked that you want me to read before my principal report.
I mean, I think there are things we asked you to include in the principal report.
But this,
Yeah, I know, so why don't we,
Do you want me to table the rest of the question?
no, we wanted to finish up the questions, right, Jen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. So just for clarity, going back to question 8, you want me to, Nuria, have the question posed to the teachers, why did they flex?
No, I wanna know how we are fulfilling the required academic minutes required if
For
we
sixth
have
through
this.
eighth grade?
Yeah, if we have this 50 minutes allocated that we don't know if one day is for the whole time is for advisory and
And
another day is 10 minutes.
And for Ms. Rosa, you want to see a copy of teachers' and distribution.
Yes.
All right, moving on to number 9. So, from what buckets are the hourlies, including pre-K, being paid? How many hourlies do we currently have? How much money is there for the year, and will we have enough to cover this? So the following lines are being used. We have 1 pre-K hourly. The budget class is 29199.115.29009.000540. That's one bucket for that one position. We have 3 miscellaneous workers out of budget class 29191, 124, 521, 408, 000, 400. There are 3, it's incorrect to call it a bucket 3 positions for that, that line. That's 3 miscellaneous workers. We also have 2 hourly workers for budget class 29191, 115, 521, 40, 119, 027, 000, 316. There are 2 positions being paid out of that line. We are still waiting on 1 individual out of those 2 to be onboarded. As for the question, do we have enough to cover for the rest of the year? We do. As of right now, the 3 miscellaneous workers, if you would allow me a couple of days just to verify that the amount has reflected in Oracle, because the allocation that was made during budget season, I believe it's going to populate either this week or next week, but I could get your confirmation on that within the next week or so. Move on to 10.
Okay, I also just an email on there, and I asked you if that's 6, I'm trying to add, is that 6 or 7? That we don't have hourly?
Well, some of them are hourly, some of them are out of the pre-K budget, so they're not being paid from the same source, if that makes sense. But we have 7 people.
We will have around 7, okay. When we did the budget back in May, we only had 4, so now we have 7. So, with those additional hourly or miscellaneous workers, I think that will then provide coverage for the recess and would then allow for.
So to answer that question, one of the things that we've been doing, and this has been a part of all of the newsletters, is we've been asking for volunteers. Specifically for recess, and we ask for volunteers for everything, but what we've done is we've also been asking for volunteers for recess and for lunch. So thankfully, we have had, I think last time I checked, it was like 7 volunteers. Gio, who's security, has been reaching out to them, making sure that they're going through the process of civic court to get onboarded. And we've had parents who've actually come helped out during recess. So we're hoping that we get more.
Right, we do have that in the agenda, and I do hope that we take into consideration that going from 4 to 7, you know, would allow for accommodations to be made to our children in this.
Because they're not outside all at the same time. So if we were hired for,
So the
recess
issue with
or-
additional playground is not an issue of people, it's an issue of space. The playground is not large enough to accompany 2 classrooms at the same time, hence the rotation. And there are 2 grade levels, not 2 classes, 2 grade levels that are at recess at any given recess time. That's the same as last year. The rotation is to ensure that everyone has at least use of the playground once.
I was saying that because you have 7 adults that were hired specifically for lunch and recess, that are they outside during that time?
Not all 7 at the time because they alternate, right? So there might be 3 or 4 out during recess when the other group is in lunch,
inside the
and then they swap.
I would just say, I think we need to move on.
Yeah, and just, so it's 8:20 or 7:26, guys. I don't see us, even with tabling items, I don't see us finishing before 8:30. Is there anyone who needs to leave
I
at
have
8?
a hard stop.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we'll still have quorum if we stay till 8:30. Anybody else? No?
Oh, wait, no, I can, but I have to step out some.
Oh, right, that's okay. We can run, yeah, so we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll have enough people, even if you step out and we leave at 8. So I think, are you, everyone okay staying till 8:30? We're still gonna have to table stuff the next meeting, but at least we, because we take together. Okay, great.
Number 10, please share the link in an email to parents from the rights meeting that occurred at the same time. So that link was shared. Again, as part of that email, I'll be sending that email again out as a reminder. Number 11, provide quotation for the training for foundations. That has already been purchased. I did include that for your review in the packet. It was purchased because it was under $1,000. Number 12, what is the plan for spending the remaining 115 funds for this academic year? At the end of the meeting, laptops, projectors, creating classroom spaces to ensure the students have sped teachers, meeting in small groups was mentioned. Please provide the amounts for these balances so that we can create a plan for consumables for the year. So the updated 115 funds were shared with you all. From the 115 funds, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines that are for CTU or from CTU. So teachers are the only ones allowed to actually use those funds. There are an additional 2 lines that are specifically for pre-K. Pre-K has been contacted and they've been informed of those funds. They're working on dividing it up and deciding what they need. There's also 1 line for $784.40. That's in place for overtime in the case we need security, which leaves us with 4 lines. 1 line is for $2,472.31. Second line is for $9,101.59. Both of those lines are for reading. One is for non-digital, the other one is for commodity and supplies. Third line is for $4,855.10. That is for mathematics, specifically for instructional materials, non-digital. And then we have the last line, which is $889.58, which could be used for grades 1 through 8, and that is specifically for commodities or supplies. In my response to the council, I gave some examples. So for the amount of $2,472.31, these could be workbooks, phonics, phonics awareness kits, reading manipulatives, For the $9,101.59 student journals or notebooks, reading responses, printing materials, paper toner, specifically for reading interventions or classroom work. We have we have a third line for $4,855. That is, one of the suggestions there are hands-on math manipulatives, teacher resource guides. The last amount for $889, that's the one that has the most flexibility. Could be for notebooks, art supplies, or almost anything.
So it appears that we have sufficient funds, what you're saying.
It depends what the needs are. So we definitely have funds for reading. So there's a total there between non-digital and commodities of around a little bit more than 11,000. For math, we have 4,855. Grades 1 through 8, the one that has the most flexibility is $889.
So, because the question was the plan for spending the funds, so the question was like, do we have an idea of having sufficient funds?
So, like I said, I've contacted, for those other previous lines, I've contacted the CT rep to let her know, like, hey, we have funds, teachers need to spend it. Also contacted the pre-K teachers, letting them know that those funds are available. The next thing that I could do is, since I'm going to be talking to the teachers anyway about their time distribution sheets, it's mentioned maybe during GLTs or at the next PPLC about the funds available. The math, there's only really 2 math teachers, but I'll mention it to the other teachers as well that teach math as well to see if there's anything that they need.
I mean, I think in terms of for budget projections, just looking at some of the things that are on here, like, knowing there's some donations that parents gave with supplies now, like come January, those dry erase markers don't work anymore, or that we don't have enough paper, or those sorts of things. So just trying to, one, have a clear plan to assess need with teachers. That at the last meeting, it was stated that we're thinking about getting projectors and computers for new teachers when teachers who've been here for a while have broken things or don't have them. And so just trying to figure out how to assess the need and create a plan that, not saying that we spend it all now, but we have
Would it be possible to include your back your parent committee?
It hasn't formed yet, or at least I have to check with the ELPT to see if it's officially formed, but that's a great suggestion.
The dual language action plan actually does include community. It's number 7 on the points. And yes, we've only concentrated this past year on curriculum, and unfortunately, we didn't get too far on it. But we have all the various steps to go through. And we did submit recommendations to Dr. Diana at the time, to OME, so I hope they're on file somewhere, concerning community building. So it's not just curriculum.
But our focus.
Our focus is the dual language action plan.
Correct.
Okay, we did not specify curriculum. So it's the entire plan, which includes community. And I'm glad you're naming this the principals committee, because that's the name we put on it. So in the principal should try to build community.
Agreed.
All right, and to build community, you work with staff and parents.
Mhm.
So just know that, I want that noted on the thing that that's his community.
Yep, absolutely. I'll take full ownership of that. I also want to point
I'm
out.
glad you are, and that you don't even recognize that the dual language action plan includes parents. It does not just include curriculum.
I also want to point out that the focus, and again, this is based on OME guidance, is that given the state of our dual language program, we should focus on strand 3, which is curriculum. And that continues to be the focus for this year.
I would like to note, just in terms of capacity, if Ms. Arce and Ms. Donahue are on this committee, they're on the safety committee, Ms. Arce oversees ROC, Ms. Donahue is CTU rep. I mean, I think they're 20 staff, over 20 staff in the school, so I would just encourage you to have, there's a diverse group of teachers and people within the staff to participate, and having the same folks in all of the committees, when they also have their classes and other things, would be something to take into consideration.
Dr. Asaf also gave a presentation last Monday, and she did talk about having parents and community involvement. So that's what I have going. So I think we should take considerations into our own local school.
Moving on to 13. Please request all the funds offered for tutoring for the English language learners. These funds have an early deadline. Last year that was $5,600. So I did reach out to OME. Their response was that they haven't received official word from Chief Asaf of OME about whether this program will be able to run again this year or not. So we just have to wait on Chief Asaf's decision on that. Is it okay if I just move on? Try and move on quickly?
Yeah, do you guys want to?
The recess
I think
one,
we should-
I think we've talked about it, it's a point in the agenda, so.
Yeah,
we
we should just, we'll say that for when it's okay.
Number 14, regarding the PDF letter that Ms. Dale just read.
Did I just say that we would move on?
Yeah, she just-
I just said that.
So I want to take my time and actually.
Okay, that's fine. I thought you wanted to get your presentation, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just, okay, as a reminder, the
14.
the email said questions for the principal report, so these are what we thought, so.
But that letter was addressed to the entire
Yeah.
LSC. So number 14, with regards to the letter that Ms. Dale read, this is my response. We are always looking for volunteers to support recess and lunch. A volunteer sign-up sheet has been included in every school newsletter since the beginning of the school year. I strongly encourage those interested in sign up through the form and complete the Civic Core application process required by CPS. Parent volunteers play an important role in helping us supervise students and create a safe, structured environment. Would like to add also that we are reaching out to those parents, and we actually had some of them start this week. Please know that decisions around our recess schedule and structure were guided by 2 priorities: student safety and equitable access to our outdoor spaces. I want to address that the main points you raise recess schedule and supervision. While I have provided the LSC and parent community with an overview at the last meeting with how recess is structured, the specific level of detail requested, such as A, times for each grade has lunch and recess, B, the number of students and staff outside at the same time, C, days each class has access to turf and playground, and D, student capacity of playground and turf raises serious student safety concerns. Publicly sharing this information could allow for individuals outside our school community to know when and where groups of children are gathered, which is not information we can responsibly disclose. This concern is heightened by the fact that the request came from, although Jenny Dale did name the person on the letter itself, it did not have a specific named individual, which leads to no accountability. I'm glad that Ms. Dale was able to share that information and who it came from. If a specific parent has a specific need or concern regarding their child's recess, they should contact the main office directly so it can be addressed in a safe and appropriate manner. First grade playground access, first grade students, like all grade levels, are scheduled to rotate between playground and turf so that all students in the school have fair access to limited playground space. Increasing access for one grade level would necessarily reduce it for another, which would not be equitable. Turf usage in soccer. When students are on the turf, staff supervision is assigned to ensure safe play. In addition to soccer, alternate play areas and activities are structured. So students who do not wish to play soccer can do something else that's meaningful and engaging. I do hear that there might not be enough things to play with, so that's something that I can take into consideration, just having some extra hula hoops or some other activities that the kids can use while they're out there. Lunch before recess. So while CPS guidelines recommends that recess be lunch when possible, scheduling constraints and space usage across 540 students require us to run lunch run lunch first to ensure safety and manageable supervision. Indoor recess decisions are made following CPS web guidelines, which is attached to your packet, with the discretion given to principals between 15 degrees and 32 degrees. In addition to temperature, the conditions of the turf and the playground equipment are also evaluated. So if a surface is wet or icy surface poses significant risk to students, which was the case in some cases last year when weather conditions had ice or snow or playground surfaces being wet, it made outdoor recess unsafe. So what we do is we usually send security, or I myself will go out there, kind of look at the surfaces, make sure that they're not wet or slippery, to ensure that students can actually go out. And if they are, it's better to err on the side of caution instead of having students hurt themselves. On days with inclement weather, students are permitted to use the auditorium for indoor recess. During this time, they are allowed to move about more freely, including running and playing, as long as it remains safe and respectful. This approach aligns with CPS guidelines, which allows for age-appropriate physical activity during an indoor recess to ensure students have a chance to release energy and engage unstructured play. Staff are present to monitor and intervene if behavior becomes unsafe. Now, while the auditorium is the primary location, we can also consider using the hallways outside of classrooms. We are very blessed with the fact that our hallways here in this building are very wide. So that might be a possibility that we can look into. The only caveat to that is the noise level that would create, which could potentially impact learning. That is taking place inside of classrooms. But students also can continue to have access to indoor activities while they're in the auditorium. Thanks to, I believe it was Fele, who bought a bunch of board games. And, was it Fele? I believe so.
I think
We
said you have to leave at 8 at 7.
So I have to go and take a call, but I do want a clarification. I want to make a clarifying thing. Miss Jenny Dale did not just give you the name of the parent. The parent's name was in the email for all of us.
Okay.
If you would have read the email carefully,
I
the
did.
parent.
What I stated was that it wasn't in the letter itself.
But it says exactly who it's from.
Yeah.
And I also would like to state that the reason that they wrote the letter is also because they said that they've tried to email you, tried to ask for meetings, and haven't gotten a response. So if you're saying that you're open to meeting with them, it would be great if you could meet with them because they're reaching out to you and they're not getting a response.
This is a consistent issue.
In addition to that, it's not just from one person, it's a group of concerned parents that
I would need somebody to just man this. I guess if you just look up there, somebody.
You'll see if someone's trying to.
is trying to.
Thank you. Are you good? Please. I'll be back. Brittany, you had something to say.
I'm just a little confused about the first part, indicating that sharing certain structures around recess would cause a safety concern, because my understanding is that that's the recess schedule and supervision. It says that it raises serious student safety concerns to be able to provide us with lunch and recess schedules, or the grade levels who are out there, the staff that's out there. I'm not understanding why, because that's already public knowledge. So in the August report, that was already shared.
Yeah, the principal report.
So So again, with that level, with the level of detail, when you're asking the number of students, that's not shared. When you're asking days of the week, specific days of the week, I don't feel comfortable putting that information out.
But it's already
You told us last week, you told us what days, how many, each of the grades.
Last meeting.
Last meeting.
Yeah.
So the public doesn't know it if they weren't at the meeting because the minutes aren't out because it was just last minute, but you went through kinder through fourth and told us which grade is in each level, in each day, how many days. So they're not asking about names of the staff or anything, we're just trying to get an understanding.
They're asking for specific times, number of students, days of each week. I gave an overview of those things and the capacity of the playground. Those are all very specific questions that I don't feel comfortable sharing outside of what I've already shared.
So what I want to clarify is, I think that to respond to them, you share that with us. You can share, as opposed to saying, I can't share anything. You have shared some information. These parents were not at those LSC meetings, have not sat through hours of meetings to try to get that information. So I think in terms of the issue of talking about transparency, it's saying, this is the information that I feel comfortable sharing to give you a general idea of what is available for students, or for what is available for resource coverage. The parents are hearing their 6-year-old kids are saying, I only go to recess once, I only go to playground once a week. They're just trying to understand why, and giving them information to understand, again, what you said, it's not just the grade, they don't understand that there are 2 grade levels. That type of empathy, that type of demonstrating information, as much as you can, I think would go a long way with parents who are just trying to respond to their young kids.
Agreed.
lunch before recess, you also just state that it says, students, your response was, scheduling constraints and space usage across 540 plus students require us to run lunch first. But, I think you need to explain how. It's like the other question where you say, here's the policy. So how does that, why the switching it around, why is that required? I think you have to explain to us why.
So I would just
Not
say.
necessarily now, but.
Yeah,
I would like to make a motion to try to vote on the expenditure, because the other votes we can do without Principal Sias, but he needs to sign the expenditure piece. So I would like to
I think it's a great idea.
make a motion to move to,
And
the expenditure around the microphone.
And if you want to do the contract for Scholastic, if we're voting on that separately, we can do that too. I mean, there's nothing assigned to anyone matters, right?
I
So then just the
wanted that.
expenses. I'll second that.
If it's open to motion, I would like to recognize that, I don't know if you signed up for public comment or not.
I did not sign up for public commenting. I did just show up based off of the information that was posted outside of the school. I did want to take an opportunity to speak if I'm able to.
So we're not doing the agenda,
Yeah,
you
we
can
will.
sign up. We have 2 modes of public participation, you're welcome to sign up as soon as we get to that moment.
Okay, I second the motion. We have to do a roll call vote for every vote because Jamal is
Thank you very
remote. So, this is the vote to vote on the expenditure right now.
I'm just here.
I have it, thank you.
Okay.
You have the agenda?
Yes.
So this is to vote on the expenditure right now, which people that motion, actually vote, but, Jenny Dale,
Yes.
okay, Jamal Jackson,
Yes.
Virginia Hernandez, yeah. Noria?
Yes.
Okay, Juliana?
Yes.
Julie Webster, yes. Jessica Mann, she's out for a minute. Ms. Rachel left. Margarita Rosa, okay. Justin Sia?
Yes.
Yes. Benjamin left. Juan Carlos Saez?
Yes.
So that's passes unanimously. Okay, so now we're gonna just do that. So would someone like to
I'll do that.
read that out? Okay, thank you.
Following is for a book transfer with school council. Book transfer into accounts from account 28103, box top, to budget line 124 555 005 2222 209 002239. In the amount of $2,029.70. The purpose is LSC decision to have audio camera solution for school-wide use, including
Virtual and
hybrid events.
Okay, would someone like to second that?
I will second it.
Thank you. So Justin seconded, and Principal Zayas made the motion, Jenny? Okay, so now we gotta, do the vote. It's gonna be another roll call vote. Jenny Dale,
Yes.
okay, Jamal Jackson,
We can come back to him.
okay, Virginia, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Noria?
Yes.
Yes. Juliana?
Yes.
Me, yes.
Yes for Jamal.
I'll make you, okay, Ms. Mann's not here, Ms. Rachel's not here. Ms. Rosa?
Yes.
Yes. Justin Sia?
Yes.
Yes. Benjamin's not here. Juan Carlos Saez?
Yes.
Yes. And then I was so that passed unanimously. Great, I will sign it.
I would just like to note, I think I really appreciate us moving forward with this. If it doesn't work, we can return it to Amazon. I think making the investment in this is great. And just to clarify, the adapter, Principal Zayas, is not covered in that. Do we need a donation to cover that adapter?
It's $14.
Right. So I'm just asking if there's enough, it's not included in that amount. So if you need the adapter, parents have reached out to say that they could support if they need someone to buy that adapter. Yeah.
So the way that it's written for the purpose, it would cover that.
Okay.
You added
Just
it.
confirm.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I think that's a long time coming for, again, school events, not just.
Yeah. If I could buy it with my Prime account, it would be $300.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was, sorry, real quick. Then is someone gonna be designated to buy it, right?
Second.
Someone, you'll designate to purchase this, right?
So the way that it works, a requester, either the clerk or the master requested.
Okay, great. So these two are for you.
And you could have it to test out before the next meeting and before any other events, so that,
Amazon is very late with, I mean, I'm sure that it won't take them a month, but just know that we're still waiting on things that we ordered 3 months ago.
Maybe one thing we can do is just, when you put the order in, if you can share with us like the tracking information.
And hope
That's
that
what I
we get it before.
Well, if it's coming from China, because sometimes it says it's arrived and then it's
Sure.
not here, or vice versa.
Okay, so principal size is within 5 minutes. Did you want to do the 5-minute overview of your report then, the rest of your report?
Or I would,
I'd rather
Or what-
not, I'd rather take it until next meeting.
Mr. Zayas, could we do public participation so that maybe it could be here as a part of it? And move to that?
You mean you want to make a
Motion to move to public
to
participation.
do the second
Right
public
now.
participation now, since you said we had 80 for everybody? I think that's very fair, right? Anyone second that?
Yes.
Sounds good. Okay, we gotta do another roll call vote. So we're voting on having the second public participation now, since we said we had 8, so that whoever was waiting can speak, and then we'll finish up our meeting in the next 30 minutes.
And sorry, just the first behind in my minutes, the first motion to move it was Jenny and Julie made the motion to move to the vote.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Sias, who was the second of
The transfer.
the transfer?
Is it Justin?
Yeah.
The transfer?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then now, Jenny, you made the motion to do public participation, and who has seconded? Okay, so, we're gonna do a roll call vote. Jenny?
Yes.
Jamal Jackson?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. No, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Juliana?
Yes.
Me, yes. Ms. Maniscal here. Margarita? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Justin?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Benjamin, Mr. Zayas?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So that passes again unanimously. So we're gonna move on to public participation. Sorry guys, just give me a minute to find the thing. Okay, so I'm gonna read the following statement and then we will see. So we will now proceed with the public participation portion of the meeting. Profane language, unsolicited comments, and disruptive behavior are prohibited. Individuals who are disruptive may be given a warning and may also be removed from the meeting if necessary. The online chat will be open during public participation only for participants to put their name to request to speak. Otherwise, all attendees must refrain from writing anything else in the chat. We have 15 minutes, everyone gets 3 minutes, Justin is timing, and we'll start with our in-person, right? And if yes,
Yes, if I could introduce myself, my name is Iris Gatewood. I do have a student at this school. He's in pre-K. This is his second year in pre-K. I'm just here for perspective. Initially, I'm here because I read an article where the principal was being asked to leave his position at the school. I mean, not verbatim, but that's essentially the message that came across my screen. And that was an issue for me because last year when I met Principal Zayas, I met him in a dire situation. I signed a 3-year-old up on CPS, Go CPS, which we all love. And I let it go. I get a phone call, your child's been accepted at Inter-American Magnet. Wonderful, I brought him here to find out it was an error. He was too young. He was the youngest in class. Principal Zayas stuck with me, stuck with my child. We were going through a situation where I had a 7th grader at a different school with a principal who should be in that article, who should be looking at termination of his position. And Principal Zayas took us in. And once we discovered the issue, because as you imagine, as teachers, she wasn't happy having the youngest in her class as an issue. She also stuck with us. She even donated things to me to help us out. So you became family. Inter-American Magnet School became family, where human nature, human beings, errors were made and it was still accepted and we worked with each other. It was not easy. And he was the youngest in class. He's in pre-K again this year because his birthday is May 5th. So no problem. They said, we'll just work it out. I've been very uncomfortable sitting in this meeting, watching how you speak to each other, watching you put someone to the fire. You haven't made a lot of progress because there's a lot of micromanagement going on right now. I'm sorry. It's not pleasant to be a part of. I wish I could say something nicer. This is my first experience with a committee, with like a parent-teacher committee. So I can't sit here and act like I'm not ignorant. I don't know everything that it entails. It seems like it has a very good basis where everyone comes together for the benefits of the student population. So, with what I've said about Principal Zayas, I just needed to put that down, that he absolutely cares about the security of the children at the school. He just may not answer the questions to the details of specificity. Because honestly, I'm sorry, I am a parent. I'm a student here, and I'm done, but you don't speak for me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, Justin, can you open the, did you open the chat?
I don't really know how to open the chat. Do we? Sorry.
We have the rest.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I didn't see it in an email. I think now, in call message, I think that's it.
We are trying to open it.
Just, that was won't count.
Pulse controls.
Is that open? Is someone connected virtually to the meeting? Are you connected?
Oh, I see.
Can you?
But it's not open.
I'm opening it. I just opened it. I figured it out.
You and I go over the.
I know. I was like, sorry.
Okay, so we'll finish that later.
I mean, I could go to that, just saying it was suggested.
Can one of you try to message in the chat just to see?
Yeah, I'll message.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, there.
Okay.
Switches going on.
Okay.
Okay, so
All right. So anyway, please put your name in the chat if you want to speak. As a reminder, only folks who have not spoken yet can speak in public participation. And so I understand that Maria Luisa wants to speak. So seeing no one else requesting to speak, Maria Luisa, you can go ahead and I will start timing you with 3 minutes.
Okay, hola. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I was concerned about one of the contracts that you guys haven't approved, and they're already collecting money for the trip, which is Washington trip, and that's a contract that you guys should be signing off on it as well. Actually, approving it. Mr. Sayas didn't present it as well, as he never follows the rules. So unfortunately, the lady that spoke before me doesn't know the background of what's happening right now, and I wish she could follow up with one of you to understand why you guys are doing this. The lack of transparency, the lack of trust is what's happening right now with the LSC, because nothing that he says it can be trusted. Like you guys just spoke about the hiring of a person when he asked for feedback, and then he hired the person before even you guys were able to finish with the feedback. So yeah, that's why you guys are micromanaging. I don't know how to say the word, but you know what I'm trying to say. And also, I have one more thing with that a lady, I mean not a lady, Wendy want me to read for you guys, is that she says, I really wish I didn't miss it, since I would like to ask, and now, hold on, I cannot see, why and when my daughter's transcript will be sent over to the school I transfer them to. Juan Sayas should have no problem sending them now, since the 20th day has already passed, and he has gotten the funds he wants for next school year, including my daughter's, since according to my understanding, they were still registered past September 15th, which was the 20th school day. Retaliation continues. So yeah, she wanted to say something, but she couldn't be at the meeting. She's still waiting on her transcript. Her kids transferred outside of CPS because of retaliation. So can someone please let Sayas know that they're still waiting for the transcripts for her kids. Again, this is why you guys are micromanaging him, because it's a leader that does not he's not a leader. He doesn't know how to lead the school. And yeah, keep up with the good work, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else virtual?
There is no one else in the chat who is asking to speak, so I think we can go ahead and close, and we'll just give it maybe 5 more seconds. All right, seems like no one wants to speak, so we'll close public participation.
We just need to figure out, we have about half an hour, how we're gonna structure the rest of the meeting. I think we can maybe just have all the other reports be in the minutes, like we've done before. And then, do we wanna discuss any of these other things, or do you wanna just go to vote? We could do committees, I suppose if we wanted, we could just go to vote.
I'm trying to catch up in my minutes, so.
Yeah. Because I just don't see us.
I think we should discuss committees just because we
Yeah.
have been
I
postponing
think
it
that's
so
fine.
long.
And we have enough to vote on committees.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just make a motion then that all the, okay, we did public participation early, so we just finished it, okay? Principal's eyes left on the 8th. So I'm gonna make a motion that all of the remaining reports just be put in the minutes. And that we discuss, under old business, we discuss committees, okay? And then the rest of old business and, I guess, new business, just be tabled till the next meeting, which is November 6th. So after we discuss committees, we'll move on to the votes. Does that work for everybody?
Sorry, I have not heard anything, but, so if you wanna recap that for me in a second, because I don't have it written down.
Okay,
Trying to catch
are you
up.
ready?
No, I'm not.
Okay, let me know when
I
you're
just
ready.
need like, give me a couple minutes, all the votes, all right.
Do you wanna do
All
a
the time.
2-minute recess? Is that helpful, or?
Just, if you can give me, yeah, like 2 minutes.
Let's do a 2-minute recess. Is that good?
Okay.
I motion for a 2-minute recess.
I second.
Okay.
All in favor?
That's what I do.
Okay, I'm just
Could
gonna,
causing more.
we're just,
Right, sorry, we have to do a roll call.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, maybe we just don't. Maybe we just don't. Maybe we just
can we
don't.
just all just not
Yeah,
talk
let's
for
just
2?
not, yeah.
But this is like not helping me.
Okay, we'll just wait 2 minutes for Jenny to catch up. If you need to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
I apologize, it's just with all the votes.
Wait,
I just haven't-
we need quorum though.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't go to the bathroom.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So nobody leave but me. I'm back in 1 minute. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't need to go, I just need to stand.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
No, my daughter's sick, so it's.
Wait, what? There's 3, 6.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh,
5,
Jamal, but
6.
Jamal doesn't count toward quorum.
Yeah, they have quorum here.
Oh,
We need quorum here.
All
well,
right, the meeting is not, then I'll suspend it, but it's gonna come back in a second.
That's fine. I know that's,
are we paused or?
but now I need to. I'm just gonna mute this.
Oh, she left. Yeah, we have.
We hit quorum now, so we are back in session, and we are unmuted.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so are you caught up, Jenny, or no? Okay, so we're just waiting for, okay.
If I had a glitch in my computer, so it wasn't registering my stuff.
Hey, Justin, I have a procedural. I didn't realize this would be committees.
Yeah.
So in our bylaws, we have.
We're not back in session, right?
We are back in
We're just
session.
waiting for
Yeah.
Jenny to catch up, that's why, that's all.
I didn't hear that we were back in session, sorry.
Got it. Basically, it's not a budget committee in our bylaws, it's a budget chairperson. I mean, who just discussed it?
Budget committee.
Yeah.
Budget committee and like.
It's the way it's worded in our new bylaws. Okay, sorry.
Sorry, the roll calls was messing me up.
It's, I know, it's like, this is, I think, what our bylaws are, right? Personnel. And somehow I thought, when I looked at it again, I thought actually chairperson. Are these the old ones?
Yeah,
Let
me go to.
I thought, yeah, I'm looking at the bylaws. Maybe I have an old version.
You might, yeah. Let me also. I have the bylaws pulled
Have the new
up.
bylaws passed? Oh, you know what? I think it's an older version. I think you're right.
Okay, because
You sent an email. The email you sent.
It was in June.
You-
Do you want me to re-forward it to you? I don't mind.
Yeah.
Sure.
I have the one that says they passed on June 10th, okay, with an attachment. That's the correct one.
June 17th will be the one. June
Oh.
17th. Sorry.
I have one from June 10th.
Oh, I mean, it's fine. I'm
It's
about
the
to.
same.
You're gonna get one for
Oh, no.
October 2nd. Yep, just sent it to you.
Would you let me, when
I'll go to.
And then trying to see when she wants to join now. We haven't gotten to voting yet, right?
No, we haven't.
No, we're waiting, we're gonna,
No, that's okay.
okay.
Okay, we're ready. What are we moving? What
Okay, what I was gonna move, I'm making a motion for us to, all the remaining reports, just to go in the minutes, okay? And then we can, it's 8:13. If we want, we can talk about committees. And then the rest of the old business and new business would just go into the next meeting. And then we would vote. On committees, the votes would be the same. Okay?
All reports to the minutes. And then say that again?
And then the rest, the only other thing we would discuss tonight would be committees under point A in old business. The rest of old business and new business would go and be discussed at the November 6th meeting. And then we would just proceed to a vote. Because I think the committee discussion can be very quick, right?
Do you need Ms. Donahue to join on for the voting regarding Cahokia? Or what is it?
I
Yeah.
don't see,
Do what, the whole thing?
Yeah, they emailed it.
the fundraising form, they did.
It's in a fundraising form. It's all it is approving the contract should be able to go to, the contract for their package.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
under A.
So we can still vote on it. That's all the votes are still discussed.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that she was submitting a fundraising form. So but that came to the.
Maybe, that is separate. This is just so that they can go on the trip.
Would someone like to second that, or do you want to skip the committee discussion today? And put it-
No, I'm just asking because Ms. Donahue asked to let her know to join on in case there were questions. So I don't know if I should have asked her to like join on or.
Yeah,
Do we have
gotten
any
there yet.
questions?
But we're not at that that point on the agenda.
I'm just gonna let her know to be
that-
ready.
Yeah, that's fine.
Who's seconding the motion for that?
Or do you guys wanna skip committees, because it's 8:15 and just vote?
I really think we need to appoint
Okay,
a committee person.
and it is what we said, Justin, the budget is a chairperson.
Yes,
But there's a budget committee, and
I don't think it'll
Okay.
take.
I don't think so either. So would someone like to second that then?
I second.
Okay, and now we gotta do a roll call vote. Sorry in advance. Jenny Dale?
Yes.
Jamal
I'm
Jackson?
sorry, I didn't understand.
We're tabling everything except the committees and the votes, okay? That's so that we can
Yes.
finish in a timely fashion. Everything else will go on to the next meeting agenda. Jenny Dale?
Yes.
Jamal Jackson?
Yes.
Virginia, yes. Noria,
Yes.
Juliana, me, yes. Jessica Mann,
Yes.
and then Margarita Rosa,
Yes.
and then that's it. So that passed unanimously. Okay? Oh, yeah,
Justin,
or Justin, I didn't say Justin, sorry. But yeah, Jessica. I just assumed it was a yes. Okay. So now that takes us to committees, okay? Our bylaws say that we may create such standing committees and special committees as necessary. Standing committees of the LSC are budget, CIWP, principal evaluation, personnel, and special education. That's what we have. And it says that personnel is at least 2 LSC members to collaborate on personnel matters at Inter-American. And then special education doesn't specify the number of people, dual language, action committee, 2 LSC members, okay. School improvement, CIWP committee, doesn't specify the number of members on our bylaws. Principal eval committee also doesn't specify the number of members, and then budget committee doesn't specify. It says at least 2 members, including the chairperson and the principal. So 1 chairperson, 1 principal. In terms of like, we've had issues with you want to explain this, Justin, depending on the number of people you have on the committee, then you have to follow the guidelines in terms of like notification and.
Right. All of these committees are arms of the LSC, and therefore they all have to follow the Open Meetings Act, which is what causes us to, not have a certain amount of people on email chains or a certain amount of people talking, in person. So when we're making these committees, I think we should just be aware that these committees will also have to follow the Open Meetings Act. But notably, last year, when I was the chair of the Principal Evaluation Committee, it was just 1 person. So there was no way for me to break the OMA because I'm just 1 person. So that was a model that we could follow again this year.
Yeah.
Although to clarify, when we had the budget committee before, as long as it was 3 people, we didn't have to follow OMA. Like we had when Nuria and Aaron and Principal Zayas were on it, as long as it's less than 3 people, that's what we were advised previously by LSC Relations, that those committees do not have to follow like posting agendas and all of that, like in terms of the Open Meetings Act.
Yeah, we've talked about that, and again, I don't know, I think we've gotten conflicting responses from LSC Relations, so I think I'd like to follow up with them again on it.
Okay. So do you want to wait to do committees then until we've gotten clarity on that? Because some committees have a specific number in our bylaws and some don't.
I agree. I guess there are some folks there are some committees that we might just want to have exist. I guess it just may be worth it to talk about a special education committee that we want to have exist. Okay. But I also get it. If you want to have this conversation again in the future, I understand too.
No, I think for me I think it would be helpful to say if we could have if there's 1 or 2 people who want to do it.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
But then I do think though I would be hesitant to, if all of those committees have to post agendas, have to have them public, have to do that, then I might opt to not fill some of the committees.
Yeah.
Then may I suggest that maybe we can just volunteer to say who would be interested in joining the personnel committee? And if there's no interest in joining the committee, then we can at least know to move on.
I'm just reading from the LSC resource guide, and it says, all committees must abide by the Open Meetings Act and its requirements, posting notice agenda 48 hours before the meeting, meetings open to public comments, minutes, etc.
Do those meetings have to be in person at the school, or can they be virtual?
Yeah.
It's like the
that's-
budget.
I think for the Open Meeting Act, you have to be in person. During COVID, they made an exception, but for the Open Meetings Act, I think you have to be in person, and then you can vote people that are not there virtually.
Yeah, so that's
But
why it
like
gets
for the
messy.
dual action committee, they don't, I mean, they don't post that to invite everybody. Like I'm just saying, maybe in practice, then we need to move forward in that and that to be
So
aware.
then do we need to email LSC relations?
Yeah, I suppose we just have too many open questions and it's almost.
Yeah,
So then, yeah,
I don't wanna.
Every committee, I mean, that's a lot of posting.
You're right, no, I didn't wanna prolong this, but
But I like the idea though of saying, at least having awareness of who wants to be, I like that.
Justin, would you be okay sending?
I will do that, but can we just briefly get like a,
Idea, interest, do you want to?
yeah, interest?
Okay, personnel, I'm just reading from the list from our bylaws, who's anybody interested in personnel committee?
What would that entail?
It said, I'll read it.
That's what I don't
So
understand.
this is from our new bylaws, the personnel committee shall be composed of at least 2 LSC members. It will collaborate on personnel matters at Inter-American Magnet School, including recommending opening and closing positions to the principal. The personnel committee shall make recommendations to the principal concerning respective appointments of persons to fill any vacant, additional, or newly created positions at Inter-American Magnet School. The principals shall have final authority on all personnel matters. And as a reminder, as per the Illinois Code of Schools, a supermajority of LSC can recommend to close a position and the principal is to abide by that, just so you guys know.
How often?
That we didn't
This
specify,
committee-
we intentionally didn't
Because
specify.
that would be one that doesn't happen like every time that you have an
Yeah.
issue, or is it like a?
So I think for the bylaws, for some of them we specified, for some we didn't, so I think it would just be up to the people on the right, yeah. It's that, I don't think we have to specify. Is anyone interested in that? I mean, you can think about it, because we're not voting today. It was just, then the next committee was Special Education Committee, and it says the Special Education Committee shall be responsible for studying and making recommendations to the council regarding special education matters. That one doesn't give a number, it's very,
I will be interested in that
it
one.
could be like one, would you, both of you? Okay. So tentatively, we have you guys for special education. And then dual language action committee, this one that we know about, right? And that one says 2 LSC members, principal, 4 parents, with the option of the dual language coordinator, the ELPT, and 1 additional teacher or non-teacher.
So it's principal and 2?
That's what it says.
For which committee?
It says 2 LSC members,
Dual
comma,
language?
the principal.
Is it the, you said
Dual language action committee. So it's saying the principal plus 2 LSC members, because you don't have 3.
Amy and myself are on.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys want to stay on? Is nobody else
Yeah,
is feeling
sounds good.
strongly? I think that's good. So that one will be you 2. And that's easy. Okay, and then the CIWP, that one is says, like, we all know what that is, right? And in terms of numbers, it just says the school improvement committee shall be composed of LSC members, including the principal, teachers, parents, and community representatives. It doesn't specify the number, but we can't have, in addition to the principal, we could only have 2 more.
Well, it's been me and myself.
Yeah, and I mean, are you guys?
I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah, I think, and you only just said, yeah, so that's, maybe we can vote on some of these, right?
I think it's worth,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
knowing
think-
the interest is fine, I think we're.
it's up, yeah, and then the next one is, it was principal evaluation committee.
Yeah, and I can do that
And-
one.
Thank you.
Should I, how many, is there a number? Because then I feel like it should be a parent and a
Give me
teacher.
one
rep.
second, sorry, I just got out of bylaws.
I can be on that with Justin.
And if we could have a third or no?
I think, let me get an answer from
Okay.
LSC relations
Right,
about the.
like, 'cause what we'll do is I can email you the tentative, the principal eval committee doesn't specify, it doesn't specify a number, it just says, responsible for facilitating annual process, review, blah, 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 composed of LSC members, including parent and teacher representatives. So that's what you're, like.
Yeah, but then if it's only 2, I
Well, it
don't
can be
need to,
3.
and
Well,
then,
It can be 3.
It can be 3, but then we suddenly need to.
It's this question of like.
But that one is private because it's closed, that one.
Yeah, but
we need
our
to-
surveys is a public thing, right? We can-
Right, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you're
It would
right.
be We will talk.
So
We'll talk about this.
Jessica, Jenny, and Justin showed interest, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And we're not making assignments.
Yeah, because
right?
I could also just share
Fair enough,
information.
yeah. And then we
And
have,
so Claire,
I'm
to
not
follow
fighting
up,
for
I
this.
remember when we were thinking about committees before, that the follow-up question should also be, I think, working groups. We're like, okay, that didn't have to be formal committees, but now since some of them,
yeah,
I wonder if we could, even though they're in the bylaws, say, is there a way to have them be working groups? that-
versus a committee, and
They're
that's
only
something you
three.
can ask, I guess.
Yeah, I can ask. Yeah, I think they're the same though. Because it doesn't necessarily matter if this is codified as a committee or not. It's just like when you have 3 LSC members together, that's like the max
Right.
for, right? Like,
But we're talking about like
To be
doing the
public
post
or not.
48 hours in advance on this stuff, right?
but that would fall, like if 4 members were just like walking down the stairs after this, we have to theoretically post. Like,
Right. So I'm saying that if it's only
If
3,
we're talking
then do we
about-
not have to
Oh.
post? If it's a working group
That's-
and not
that's-
a
yeah.
working committee.
If it's a working group of 3, yeah, I suppose. I don't know that we need to include it in our bylaws, but that can exist. That's
Right,
something-
so I would,
So
so
it's
what my
ten.
question it just wants to be is like, could we ask them if we want to, they can be in the bylaws, but in practice, like, we could be like, oh, we don't have capacity to be, we want to do a virtual, so it's just gonna be a working group and not a committee this year. I don't know if we can.
So maybe
do that.
that's another, yeah, that's great. So then the last one we have in the bylaws is budget committee. And that one we specify, shall be composed of at least 2 LSC members, including the budget chairperson and the principal. So we have to have, the budget chairperson, I didn't realize that we didn't have that on the vote, but we can put it on for next if we want. Because we can designate a budget chairperson. I know that there's somebody who's strong arms. So I guess so the budget committee, one person has to be the principal, one person has to be the budget chairperson, and you could have an additional person if you wanted. Yes.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, I think you are by far the most experienced, so thank you. And then we would have, would you be interested in budget chairperson? We wouldn't vote on that today. But if you want to be the one, yeah, it would be logical, right? And then we could, in theory, depending on how this all plays out, have one additional LSC member on the budget committee.
I did it
Yeah.
before.
So we just, again, have to figure out the logistics. So we got somebody for everyone except.
Unless Jamal wants to do one. Jamal?
Jamal, do you want to be on a committee?
Well, we still have, we at the moment, we have, the good news is we have everybody except personnel committee.
Personally, I feel after giving my response, I just feel like, what's the point of joining
I don't
that?
disagree.
I think, it does. The CIWP, are you the 2 of you are gonna keep?
I had
being on it,
Juliana
right?
and
Yeah.
Marita. So if you I had nobody for personnel, Jenny and Juliana for special education, CIWP, I have Nuria and Marita, dual language, I have Rapidia and Marita.
Jessica and Juliana.
Yeah, for special education, yeah. Principal eval, there was interest from Justin, Jenny, and Jasmine, it's just a question of logistics. Budget, we have the principal, obviously, Rapidia and Nuria, and then
Actually, can you take me off the principal evaluation? Let's just do that. And then I can collaborate to help with the teacher side and give it to you.
then everything except personnel is,
I need less things.
looks like we have people, we just have to codify it next week.
Right, and that's fine.
Which is good, because
That's
at least
good.
like,
At least now we
and then we have to add a budget chairperson, vote for next meeting also, right? Okay, great. So then that takes us to, do we need to discuss the expenditures, transfers, or contracts, or can we just go to the voting items? Well, we can
Do we have
briefly-
any questions about?
Well, that's why I
the
need to ask
contract?
it for them.
Right. The scholastic contract we talked about,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And then the only other, the expenditure we voted on, that we voted on. So the only things up are we have to vote on the scholastic contract, we talked about it. And then we have the, chemistry, correct? And that was the one, to see if there are any questions around.
So I'm gonna ask her to.
Which one are we gonna do first?
Why don't we, because we could just like vote on scholastic, and then when we vote on chemistry, we can have like a brief discussion. Does that make sense? Okay, so
So we're moving to voting, we're not
we're gonna
discussing?
move to voting, I think. So voting, I will make a motion to approve the Scholastic Book Fair contract that was provided to us. Would someone like to second it?
I second.
Second, okay, thank you. We're gonna do a quick roll call vote.
Hold on,
Sorry.
Just give me a second, the roll call
Yeah,
is really
sorry.
challenging. And that's with my format.
That's with the understanding that it's just one.
Exactly, it's
The one
for,
that's right.
it's a
It's just for
contract
one
associated
event.
with the event at the end of October. And we'll hope for another one.
Motion, who,
I did.
Julie,
Yeah.
and who seconded?
Margarita.
Yeah, it says October 27th to the 31st.
And the motion is to vote on the
Approve,
Scholastic.
yeah, Get to vote on the one. Okay, Jenny Dale,
Yes.
Jamal Jackson,
Yes.
yes. Virginia Jimenez del Toro.
Yes.
Gloria McNeil.
Yes.
Juliana Tamayo.
Yes.
Me, yes. Jessica Mann.
Yes.
Margarita Rosa. Yeah, and Jessica, yes. Okay, so that, everybody said yes who was here. So that passes. And then,
Oh,
that leads us to the, next one. And I think Ms. Rosa had emailed some questions and she responded, thank you for responding, she responded to everything. So, thank you for that.
What was it?
Well, yeah, can we,
No,
the questions?
BCC.
Yeah, the questions
It
were.
wasn't a lot.
So do you take,
I don't think we
Sorry,
have
I
time.
don't think we can go through the questions.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they were all like long.
We didn't get it.
It's because she didn't, I think it was a OMA thing, she didn't BCC, although I guess it was too many. They're all very reasonable. It was like, I can tell you really briefly, like the ratio of chaperones to, one adult for 6 students, a box lunch, child-friendly restaurant, allergies are being addressed, no luggage fees, the tour guides are historic site volunteers that meet them at the mouths and provide activity and information. So
Does
it's all for
Every year is the same.
It was all like, thank you
Do we
for.
know if this has been approved by CPS?
Whoops, sorry. I thought I could just add people by phone
I
number.
think this is through CVS.
Yeah, because it's, but I don't know.
This is the contract with the company hemisphere, but did the field trip get approved by CPS? It's an overnight trip.
Yes.
So CPS has to approve that.
I turned it
I
off.
think because we did it as a year.
Because there was no presentation
I
to
think
do.
that,
Sorry, do you want me to put back on?
it has to be approved, but we can confirm.
I'll put
Normally,
it back on.
I do not remember ever seeing anything specific, because this is a company that you have to go through CVS.
Just so that we're not doing one thing for the other, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm asking her to, I sent it to her, she's gonna join. Wow, we really do need new projectors. Oh, she is on. Miss Donahue. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, has the overnight already been approved by CPS?
No, not yet.
And so you'll be moving forward in that process, right? After, that's what you do each year, after you get the
Yes.
contract, you move forward the process to get it approved?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
because the money is due by October 15th, so it should.
Just the initial, the deposit.
Okay.
Because that's thinking, fundraising, they do fundraising.
And there's never been an issue before with not getting approved, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you for sticking with us.
Thank you, Ms.
Wait, any other questions before?
I hope you have a good trip.
Watch out for the.
And Ms. Donahue, thank you so much for answering all of those questions. I know it was added to your plate. I apologize. Thank you for taking the extra time.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
I make a motion
Second. Oh,
to approve the contract for the Cahokia trip.
second.
Second, okay. We're gonna do another roll call vote. Jenny Dale,
Yes.
Jamal Jackson,
Oh, yes.
Virginia Jimenez del Toro. Maria McNeil, Juliana Tamayo, Julie Wexler, yes, Jessica Mann,
Yes.
Margarita Rosa,
yes.
and Jessica Zia.
Yeah.
So that passed unanimously. participate. Great. So that's it for expenditures, transfers, and contracts, correct? Committee vote, we're not gonna do, we're gonna do it presumably next week, or next month, sorry. And then, so this leads us to the last voting item, and just as a reminder, we all got that email from LSC Relations. This is kind of a formality. We have the final summative rating of the principal evaluation for 2024-2025, because sometimes there's additional information that is given to us as per the email. This year, there was not, so the evaluation is based upon, the final summative rating is based upon the evaluation from last spring. But we still have to, as an LSC, as per the LSC Relations email, we still have to approve it and then I have to submit it by November 1st. We all have it from before, and then our new member I sent to you since you were voting on it now, so you should know it. So this is not a discussion so much as just vote to approve it. Okay. Anybody have anything to say or questions? That's very clear, right? We did the same thing last year. Last year was a discussion because there were many new members. That was all. Okay. So would someone like to make a motion to approve the final summative rating of the principal evaluation for 2024-2025?
I move that.
Okay. I'll second it. Okay. Let me know when you're ready for our last roll call vote of the night.
Who did the first one? Sorry.
Justin, and I seconded. Okay. Jenny Dale?
Yes.
Jamal Jackson?
Yes.
Yes. Virginia Jimenez del Toro?
I'm gonna abstain.
Noria McNeil?
Yes.
Julia Camero? Yes. Julie Wexler, yes. Jessica Mann?
Yes.
Margarita Rosa?
Yes.
And Justin Sia.
Yes.
So all yeses with except one exception.
And technically, the student
He
can't vote
can't
on
vote,
it.
correct. Okay, so that passes. I will upload it by November 1st. Public participation was already done. So that leads us to our next meeting, which will be Thursday, November 6th, at 5 p.m., same location. I can't be there because I have an unavoidable work conflict, so.
I just wanted to make one statement with regards to hemisphere, because I would like to send the notes. I think that we should be checking to see if there's other vendors that can provide the trips, both to Washington DC and to Hoboken, and any other overnight trip, because.
You mean like in the future?
Right, for the future, right. Like, so if we have that in mind, that by next year we can literally see, well, this is the best option, that we have. These prices are going up higher, and, it's.
Fortunately, it's the same for even just getting buses for field trips. It's been very hard to find buses, and then on top of that, the prices have become ridiculous.
But I'm saying that, and that we should also be contacting the chief in charge of vending and ask, why they're. I think it's limited. There's only X number of vendors. That maybe the process needs to be opened up a little bit more. It's becoming like a monopoly, and I think that we should see if there's other vendors that can provide these trips for us at more reasonable price. Just for the next.
Thank you. Okay, so that's it. Meeting ends.
Someone
someone has to make a motion, sorry.
Move to adjourn.
Me too. I need a second.
Okay, I guess I lied. This is now our last roll call vote, right? Jenny Dale?
Yeah.
Jamal Jackson?
Yes.
Virginia? Yes. Juliana? Yes. Me, yeah. Jessica?
Yes.
Margarita? Justice?
Yes.
That